Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Quick Cut Sports Network, coming to you live from Lakeland, Florida, here at Bryant Stadium for Game 2 of Championship Saturday. We have the 6A Championship for the Sunshine State Athletic Association coming your way right now. I'm Bobby Allen, BA, alongside Conrad Bulch. And Conrad, we saw a really good game earlier. It didn't quite turn out the way we expected, but still nonetheless a very competitive game. Tonight, there's a lot of stuff on the line tonight. You have Masters Academy coming off a championship as recent as 2019, and you've got a Westminster Academy team coming in here with all the hope on their shoulders of going 30 years without a championship, all the way back to 1990.
Yeah, it's crazy you say that because there's a poster on the Westminster side of the stands that says, "Why not us?" We interviewed their head coach earlier. His name is Coach Walhoff, and I asked him. I said, I see that poster over there saying, "Why not us?" Can you kind of explain that? And right after they lost to the Nova Southeastern School, one of their players said, "Hey, why not us? Let's continue this run." And that's why they're here today. Haven't won a state title since 1990. Their head coach was on that team, looking to change the course of history tonight against a tough opponent.
Here we go. Westminster Academy won the toss, elected to defer to the second half. So that means, Masters Academy won the toss, still elected to defer. So Westminster Academy.
You okay, BA?
Whoa. It's going to be a long weekend.
Hey, that's all right.
Yep. Kickoff is up and away. And Westminster is going to have the football first, returned from about the 5, coming right at us out to about the 17, 18-yard line. Return by number 7, Amari Deer. 6 foot 170 athlete. And we will see the quarterback, Anthony Barber. 6'2", 184. And Conrad, he has put up some impressive numbers this season.
Yeah, 2,831 passing yards this season. Just a cannon of an arm. And look to see him all over the place tonight. They average just over 230 yards passing a game. Got to watch out for him. They've got weapons, and they've got his arm.
4 wide. He's going to go to his right. Ball thrown low. Hits the ground incomplete. 2nd and 10. We have been told that the clock is intermittently working on the field, or on the board. So we'll keep you updated as best we can.
They tried to go to Evan Tempro, the senior. He's got about 66 yards receiving this season. They don't go to him a whole lot, but just threw it a little bit low and brings up 2nd and 10.
We're going to pack everybody in this time. Still looks to throw. Nice little touch pass over the top. Caught by Andre Jones. He's out across the 30 to the 34-yard line, enough to move the chains for Westminster.
Yeah, they go back to Evan Tempro once again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. That first pass was in the dirt, or in the turf, I should say. Went right back to him, and, no flinch. Went right back to their guy. Again, Only came in with 66 receiving yards this season. Don't matter. He caught it, first down.
And looked good doing it. I would have never guessed that he only has 66 receiving yards on this 2023 campaign. Shotgun formation for the lefty Barber. This time he's going to hand it off. Coming straight ahead. Not much going on there. Good pressure interiorly by Masters Academy. They're headhunters. I had the opportunity to have their game a couple of weeks ago. And defensively, they are absolute headhunters. And we'll get into some more stuff about Masters Academy, but they're the number 1 team for a reason. They can play both sides of the football. So this is absolutely a test for Westminster.
100%.
Flag comes in on the near side, so that'll be an offside against Masters Academy. But going back to the coaching staff, they brought in Garrett Kruschak, former UCF quarterback. They brought in his father, Mike, who coached at UCF for a number of years back in the 90s, late 90s. They also have Doug Gabriel, former NFL wide receiver, currently chapter president of the NFLPA. So there's enough football knowledge on this sideline for anybody to soak up.
100%.
Could you imagine? You played the sport at a high level. Could you imagine having that kind of knowledge on the sideline?
Oh, I'd be like a kid in a candy store. Sure. I wouldn't be able to shut up about it.
I was so impressed when that was brought to my attention. Here is a dart by Barber. Catch made out across the 45 at the 47. Listen, I have a feeling this is one of those situations where Tempro, who they're going to go to a lot, you're going to hear his name mentioned a lot, they have to be ready at all times. Hands up, boys, it's coming, and it's coming hot.
Well, yeah, and Tempro stands at 6'4", 210 pounds, so they went to him high there. He's able to bring it down and take the contact.
Yep.
And again, like we said, you would have never guessed that he came into this game with less than 100 yards receiving the whole year.
Let's give you one more. Look out for number 2, Dwayne Wembley Jr. He has put up a 1,000-yard season, and here he is with the catch on the near side. Tries the stiff arm, still fighting for extra yards. Gets stopped short of midfield. Way to hang on for the Masters Academy defensively.
And the Masters Academy doing that swarm defense as they're in the black jerseys with white numbers, and Westminster in the white jerseys with red numbers. And we talked about it before the broadcast. Their helmets remind me of the Houston Roughnecks from the XFL last season. I don't know why, but they just do. They don't have too much of that blue along the side, but the combination of white, red, and blue just reminds me of the Houston Roughneck helmets. Coached by Wade Phillips.
Yeah, legend. Here's Barber. Fires far side. Catch made. Stiff arm made. First down and more out near the 40 of the Masters Academy. That is Andre Jones with a catch. They've got weapons all over the place. Let's get back to Dwayne Wembley Jr. Put up a 1,000-yard season. He stands 6'6", 205, and that young man is just a junior. They have weaponry all over the place. So that's what makes this game very entertaining. I think without question this may be the best offense that the Masters Academy have seen all season, hands down. Equally saying this might be the best defense that Westminster has seen all year.
It's funny when you have a team best offense versus best defense, you think the defense wins, but I think offense usually wins more often than not, but I could be wrong.
Excellent pressure there, standing strong for the Masters Academy. First contact made, Aiden Greer, 6'1", 225, sophomore.
This forces Westminster to be in a second and long situation. Their head coach wanted to get into more manageable downs, but that's the thing. They've been getting heavy defense on those first down plays, but they haven't been able to contain, past that first down. The second and longs, they get going.
Here's Barber, looks near side this time. There's his man, Dwayne Wembley Jr. He's able to get it out inside the 35, down to the 32. And again, nice little pass out in the flat. They're definitely on the same page. We saw in the first game today that St. Stephen's Episcopal quarterback, help me out, Conrad. Evan Brown. He and his targets were just not on the same page for the whole game.
Until the fourth quarter when they were down 28-7.
Very stark contrast here between those two teams, passing game-wise at least, on this first possession of the 6A championship game. Clock at 7:25 here in the first quarter. Here's the pitch to Wembley, running right. Cannot escape the shoelace tackle, but is able to get the first down near the 25.
Yeah, they are giving the Masters Academy everything they have here. I mean, like I said, they average 336 yards a game, 224 of it through the air. And, I mean, they're throwing to a guy, I'm going to say it again, Evan Tempro. By the end of this first quarter, he'll have the same number of yards receiving for this game as he did all year. And,
probably more.
Like we both said, you would never guess that he has less than 100 yards receiving.
No.
But they're always throwing it. They're always throwing it to Wembley Jr. So if you throw him open, who are you going to double team? They don't know.
Here's Wembley Jr. across the middle. Ball tipped. Good defense. Ball's incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. He had a little room. Ball just underthrown.
Almost got tipped to him, but he was going the other direction. It's crazy, this Westminster team. The last time they won the state was 1990. The team they played was University Christian down at the Gator Bowl. I was told it was 45 degrees that day. No touchdowns were scored. Final score, 6-3.
Barn burner. Here's Barber. Goes near side this time. caught around the 25, falling forward inside the 20 to about the 16 is Nathan Graham. Also another one of those targets, 6'1", 175. He's a senior.
And he comes in, another good guy on offense, almost 300 yards receiving. He's got a couple touchdowns to his name this year.
Listen,
you just don't know who to double team.
You don't. And the secondary, Evan Slockett, David Moore, Christopher Barnes on that defensive side for Masters Academy. They're going to have their work cut out for them. They got to have their head on a swivel. This time they're going to go far side pass, knocked away, incomplete. Good double coverage there for the Masters Academy. That'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, it was a risky pass there, kind of threw it into double coverage, but put it in a position for his receiver to go get it. But
he did.
That's a great job by the Masters Academy. You get out of a long drive, it kind of that bend don't break defense. It's like we'll give you between the 20s, but once you get into that red zone, good luck. And they did just that, and that will force Westminster to kick a field goal here.
It'll come down to the right leg of Mason DeBona. Mason DeBona, a senior for this Westminster squad. Hold is down, kick is away, and does it have enough? It does. He puts it through. Field goal good for Westminster Academy. And they take an early 3-0 lead here in this 6A championship game.
Get this. That's his only fifth field goal attempt all year. He's 4 for 5.
Can't beat that. And listen, as we walked in, everyone we spoke to, and you heard it, what do you all feel like this game could be? What are you all expecting tonight? Every one of them almost paused and did the same thing. Wow, yeah, this could be a shootout. And based on the way that Westminster moved the ball up the field first drive, and I know the way that the offense for Masters Academy can play, if they mimic what they did 2 weeks ago, we could be in for a extremely entertaining football game.
You know, it's funny because, we called the game between St. Stephen's Episcopal and Mount Dora, and you look on paper, Mount Dora was 5-5, St. Stephen's was 8-2, and St. Stephen's was coming off winning state the previous year by handily. They won 47-7 the previous year, and you look at paper, it's like, okay, we expect this, and it was completely the opposite. Mount Dora came out there, they contained the run. They basically took 60% of St. Stephen's game away, but this game, like you said, it's going to be a barn burn. It's going to be a shootout / barn burner, depending on what happens.
It's going to be a low kick, trying to catch Masters Academy off guard. Loose football. Bounces off one of the up men. Both teams signaling they have it. No indication yet. Hey, listen, I like it. Masters Academy comes up with the football. They are fortunate to come up with the football, but I like the aggressive play calling from Westminster Academy. They haven't been here in a long time. They've got nothing to lose.
Well, yeah, and it's that same thing I told you about it, that poster across the field there in the Westminster section. Why not us? I mean, they had that game against the NSU school where they lost 41-7 earlier in the 42-7, excuse me, and then 2 weeks later in the first round in the second round of playoffs, they win 41-20. So they're a team that makes well adjustments, and like you said, it's the state championship.
Sure.
You don't have more postseason after this.
No, it's time to rock and roll if you're either one of these teams, regardless of how long it's been since you've been here. Handoff goes right up the middle to O'Shea Faison. O'Shea Faison was a catalyst in the game that we covered a couple of weeks ago. He, Demarion Simmons, and Devon Washington, all three can hurt you any way you care. Mm-hmm. And their offense is tough, and they can do a lot of stuff. And I really genuinely feel like this is going to be a heck of a game. Quick timeout called here. Both teams make their way to the sideline. But I'm impressed with what I saw right there off the jump for Westminster.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, it's one of those things where, you got that hunger. It's like we haven't been here since the 90s. I wasn't born in 1990. I was born in 1997. I'm 26 now. I feel really old. Maybe not as old as you, respectfully, but I wasn't born then. And these kids, but the coach was. Yep. He said, hey, I know what it's like to win state. Why not us? Let's go do it. Let's go ahead and rewrite history and break a 33-year-old drought. And why not us? And,
Yep.
you know, that first drive, it ended in a field goal, maybe not what they wanted off the jump, but love what you saw. They moved the ball well. They spread it around to guys that you don't normally call their name, and now they just got to be on defense and watch out for what the Masters Academy might do.
Let me give you another statistic that you're going to appreciate. Keep your eyes on the quarterback for this Masters Academy club. He is an 8th grader. Yep. I didn't stutter. That is Jackson Stecker.
That's wild.
And he is incredible for his age in pressure-packed situations.
Yeah, that's I remember reading that this morning when I was going over my notes again, but that just blows my mind.
Until you see it, you just don't know.
I mean, I remember what I was doing at 8th grade, and it was not quarterbacking a state championship game. That's insane.
Stecker calls his own number this time, bounces off a would-be tackler, takes it up the middle of the field, and gets down just shy of the 40. Good solid carry there for Stecker. Incredible for him to step in at that age. My son is 13. He is a 7th grader. And, you know, when I look at him, what he is doing, and then I have, you know, similar size. My son's 6 foot. He's an athlete. I couldn't imagine him being in that situation. It's incredible.
No.
Impressive.
And especially in a stadium like Lakeland High School,
yeah,
where there's – it just breeds greatness in here. I mean, it's under the lights, a lot of pressure, but he hasn't flinched.
There he goes. I'm telling you, he is a catalyst. O'Shea Faison is a home run hitter, and he just showed you how quick he can escape pressure.
Yeah, and once he had a step, he was gone, and that's one thing Westminster's going to have to do, kind of like what Mount Dora had to do in the earlier game. You got to keep contained, but you also got to cover the weak spot in the middle. Otherwise, you're going to get gashed like that all night.
Timeout on the field. That is Masters Academy's Aiden Greer. Slow to get up. Another stalwart for Masters Academy.
He'll have to come off for at least one play. Hopefully he's okay.
And you know, a few moments ago you were talking about Coach Aaron Woloff over across the way with Westminster Academy, and I love the fact that they brought back somebody with that love for the school. A good football coach is a good football coach, don't get me wrong, but I'm nostalgic, I guess. I feel like there's always something special when you have somebody that put on that very same jersey and played for that very same school and represents that institution and is able to come back with a great program already established and lead it on.
Well, yeah, you get that. It's like they get it. You know,
sure.
They went through the process. Maybe the facilities weren't as great as they are now because things were different in the 90s. But, I mean, you get that, that was my locker back when I was a junior in high school, or that's where I went and had English class, or that, you know, just all that stuff, or that's where we used to have ice cream after Friday night movie night or something like that.
Sure. And
yeah, I agree with you. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he has turned the squad. He has turned the squad around from a first-round exit last year.
Stecker with trips to the right side, single receiver, top of the screen. Faison in the backfield. Oakley Foster comes in motion, but the handoff goes to Faison. He surges forward inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line.
Aiden Greer, number 51, returns to action, so looks to be okay. As I've said before, they have to come out for one play if they go for injury or a helmet comes off. So in for him for that one play was number 72, Brady Fish. He's also a senior for this Masters Academy, but.
Yeah, I'm gonna make one more comment back to Coach.
Sure.
I feel like in a world today, and I say this both from I'll get right back to that point. Single receiver near side comes in motion. That is Jay Cormell. He was our player of the game. Stecker on the keeper, throws to the corner of the end zone. Wide open diving catch. Oakley Foster, welcome to the 6A championship game.
And to think that that quarterback is in 8th grade and he threw a dude open into that corner of the end zone. He dove for it to go get it, but he put it where only he could go get that. I'm telling you, that's probably one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially with a kid that age. You're exactly right. That pass requires so much concentration and touch, let alone it being a state championship game, right?
100%.
Well, we've got a 7-3 contest here with 3:19 to play in the first quarter. It's been a very clean game, too. Hard to believe there's just 3 minutes left. I haven't really paid much attention to the clock because they said it wasn't working right. But we'll give it to you best we can. Listen, again, it's going to be entertaining. I just don't know to what extent yet. It's hard to guess.
Well, I think the biggest thing is if it continues the way that it does, where these teams are moving the ball down the field, it could be the last team to possess the ball wins the game. I'm saying that right now. Again, we've only seen a couple drives between Westminster and the Masters Academy, but if it continues this way, I think the team that possesses the ball last is the one that's going to walk away with the 6A title.
Yeah, listen, those kind of games, it's a joy as a broadcaster to be a part of. I haven't had one in a while. I'd love it to be tonight. I'll selfishly say that. Anyway, back to Coach. I feel like in a world where it's so much of it is about the name on the back of the jersey, I think a guy like that's going to come in and make these guys play for the front.
100%.
That kickoff's a good one. It's going to result in a touchback. Good leg there from Landon Lees, sophomore kicker for the Lions. And now we see Westminster take the field one more time on offense. Second possession of the game. First possession saw him eat several minutes of clock and make it all the way down inside the red zone. Came out with a field goal, but they can move the football.
Yeah, you can't have if they're going to battle a Masters Academy, what they just did with an 8th grade quarterback. Again, I'm going to keep saying that because that just blows my mind. They're going to have to at least flip the field every drive they get and come away with points, because if the Masters Academy can do that, they got to keep up with them.
Pass over the middle from Barber. Overthrows his intended target, number 17, Nathan Graham, but flags coming in the backfield.
Might be a holding call. Oh, it's a roughing the passer call on the Masters Academy. It's a huge call for Westminster.
First time we've heard that called in our doubleheader today.
And we didn't have a roughing the passer call in that first game.
No. So that moves the line of scrimmage to the 35 with 3:14 on the clock. First quarter, 7-3 the score. Westminster Academy with the football. They trail. They're going to line up trips to the near side. Single receiver, top of your screen. Tempro ISO'd up top. See if they go that way. Barber drops back under pressure, escapes the first tackler, but cannot escape the second. And he's going to be brought down by Tyson Chadwick.
Yeah, he had number 17 of Nathan Graham on that left side, but just could not find him in time, and that's a huge, huge sack.
How about 6'5", 270 coming at you under pressure?
Oh, no thank you.
No thanks. I'll take my chances.
Luckily, it's still second down, but it's going to be about a 2nd and 19. First down markers the 45, and they'll be lining up at the 27.
Wembley Jr., leading wide receiver, has over 1,000 on the year. He's going to line up single receiver to the near side, number 2 in white. They're going to go trips high side. High snap, corralled by Barber, fires it near side. Wembley dropped it. In and out of his hands, ball was thrown perfectly. That's just a drop. Good coverage.
That's the good old-fashioned looking before you caught it. And
Winston Anderson with a good defensive coverage there. Just applied enough pressure to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, and if you got a good defensive line that's going to keep contain and make that quarterback uncomfortable, I mean, that's a win every time.
Yeah, now granted, he is a world-class wide receiver, he's top prospect. 9 times out of 10 he catches that, but I'll take the one,
Yeah, Exactly.
Here's a pass complete far side. Knee was down, I believe. Yeah, it was. At the 32. Catch made by Evan Tempro.
They've been going to Tempro a lot here in this first quarter. Again, I keep saying this. Came into this state championship game only 66 receiving yards all season. And I'm telling you, he's going to have that many by halftime at least. But
listen, that's a great point you bring up, because coming into this game, if you did any studying at all, you would think that Wembley Jr. is going to be your 1v1 ISO guy all night.
Yes.
No, it's been Tempra.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think they did that on purpose, because when you got a guy with over 1,000 receiving yards on a season, averaging 100 a game, the other team's going to game plan for that, so you have to plan around it. So
I like it.
Yeah, you gotta make the Masters Academy wonder.
Oh, ball loose, mishandled on the punt return, and indication is Masters Academy able to come up with it. That's twice tonight, Conrad, that we've seen a little mishap.
Yeah, those are two big times where Westminster was unable to capitalize on a fumble there, because, something like that where it's a routine fair catch and the guy drops it, you got to be right there, because it's almost as if it's a 30 to 40 yard pass and you're right there for a first down. Instead, you got to go back on defense and hold on for dear life and cover. You got to cover those receivers, and you got to plug those holes in the middle, because they're getting gashed right now by the Masters Academy.
Here we go. The Lions offense back out on the field. 4 receivers near side as Devon Washington comes in motion. Ball goes straight ahead. Gain of 2, maybe 3. They're going to be spotted at the 40, gain of 2. The 8th grade quarterback, Jackson Stecker, called his own number. Just crazy to say that. I was so shocked when I saw, again, that night they had started him out of necessity, not unbeknownst to me until I showed up.
Yeah.
And he played lights out. And I said, oh, my goodness.
Well, and that's the thing, is being ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely. Here's a pitch right up the middle. Interesting play call. And flag comes in. Whistles had blown 10 seconds ago. Little extracurricular activity by Westminster Academy. So that's going to gift them a first down when the play had been marked a yard short.
Yeah.
Forward progress still had them short.
And you can't give a team like the Masters Academy any free yards like that, because if they're going to do what they did on that first drive all night, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Cannot do that.
Couldn't have come at a worse time. With 1:09 to play in the first, you trail 7-3. Masters Academy getting the ball second half, even though we're far from there now. But you have to keep those things somewhere in your mind. O'Shea face on in the backfield for Stecker. He'll have twins lined up each way. Oakley Foster comes in motion as the handoff goes up the middle to face on, and he is met and pushed back immediately. Gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
They did a great job of plugging that middle, and the running back had nowhere to go for the Masters Academy, and they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to clean it up in the middle, because, as I said in that first, as we're getting close to the end of the first quarter, they were gashing them in those early drives, and they're going to have to make some adjustments here in this second quarter, and not hang on for dear life, but just take it to them, because you beat up a running back or a quarterback enough times, they're not going to want to throw or run as hard.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Devon Washington comes in motion near side as Stecker has to roll out of the pocket. Gets across the 30, 25, and steps out of play as he was being pressured by number 22, David Harris II. But again, for an 8th grader to have the comfort level and the composure under heavy pressure from a really good football team to make those kind of plays where he just knows to just slide out of bounds, and he just looks so carefree doing it, like he's been playing forever.
He looks like a senior.
He does.
I thought he was a senior.
Unequivocally. Yes. Here he is again. This time he has twins up top. Single receiver near side will be Hornwell. We haven't called his name tonight, and he is their deep threat.
Sometimes it takes a while to get that guy cooking.
And that was an odd-sounding whistle, but it is going to be a penalty. It's going to be a delay of game against the Lions. There's been a couple of delay of game penalties tonight that coaches have been really hot about.
Well, it's kind of weird because you've got a 25-second clock in the back corner by one of the end zones, but there's nobody there to operate it.
Never move. Yep.
So it's almost like you have to have that clock in your head. But then you had the game Mount Dora against St. Stephen's where they didn't pump the clock.
Yes.
And then it was a quick delay. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Talk about overcoming adversity, no matter what team you are. But got to make do with what you got.
Here's Stecker. They were looking for Hornwell over the top. Still has it. Now he has to tuck and run. It's across the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be dropped at the 27. They were looking for Hornwell on that little hesitation route on the near sideline, but great pressure or great defense by the secondary of Westminster. They were all over it.
Yeah.
Clock strike 0. That'll be the end of the first quarter here in this 6A championship game. Our score, Westminster Academy trails Masters Academy 7-3. Westminster looking for that elusive championship. Go back to 1990 before they were here. We'll take a quick break. Back with more here on the Quick Cut Sports Network. And we'll get back in to the Quick Cut Sports Network. Coming to you live from Lakeland, Florida at beautiful Bryant Stadium. Sunshine State Athletic Association 6A Championship Contest. I'm Bobby Allen, BA, alongside Conrad Volchin. Man, listen, not only has this been a great day of football, but this game so far has been very entertaining because you can already tell these teams are very well coached. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Or uncharacteristic mistakes, let me say that. And both of them are extremely fun to watch.
100%.
And having a little change here as Stecker comes out, and the quarterback who carried this team through the first several weeks of the season, Nazir McMillan, checks in. 5'9" sophomore.
This is a weird change here.
Interesting, isn't it? Makes you wonder if that is something's going on, or are they just trying something different? Right off the jump, there's a mishap, and that's not a good start as McMillan is going to be dropped for a loss, and there comes Jackson Stecker right back in. So I wonder what that was. It might have been he needed water or something. Hard to tell.
Yeah, it might have been. I think the referee told him he had to get off the field. It might have been an equipment malfunction or an injury. I'm going to say it want to take a wild guess and say it was an equipment malfunction.
I missed that. Good eyes, Conrad.
But yeah, that's huge because you're in third and long from the 35, and that's depending on your kicker, that's probably out of field goal range.
That changes everything. So Stecker back in, the 8th grade sensation, 4 wide, 3 to the near side. Drops back, pressure comes, throws off the back foot over or through the extended arms of Oakley Foster. Foster very instrumental so far, caught the lone touchdown pass in the game so far. But now that brings up 4th and a pretty good 21. Well, 4th and 20 on the nose, it looks like. They need to get to the 15 for a first down. And now we have flags and a penalty against Westminster, so scratch that. It's going to be a much more manageable 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that penalty was.
I did not see it.
I didn't see the hand motion. I just saw they pointed. And it's 3rd down. It's not a first down, so I don't know if it's a – it wasn't a pass interference because it would have been an automatic first.
Interesting.
But
hold. Call was holding against Westminster.
I keep forgetting it's not automatic first in high school. I'm so used to 5 yards and a first down.
Absolutely. Yeah, it took me a minute too, believe me. Here's Stecker. Beautiful ball over the top. Wide open touchdown pass for the Lions of Masters Academy from 25 yards out. What a strike. Catch made by Devon Washington on the beautiful pass from Jackson Stecker. And the Lions lead at 13-3. Telling you, Conrad, he is sensational. Uh-oh. High snap for the Masters Academy. Stecker.
Still loose.
Oh, kicker had to run it down. It goes through his hands. And they lose an opportunity to add to the scoreline, but they do lead it by 10, 13-3.
Surprised they blew it dead there. It's still a fumbled ball, but I don't know.
The Eagles of Masters Academy. Lions of Westminster.
Both two majestic creatures in
They are
the land of the wild.
Majestic creatures. Yes.
Yeah, you saw one of the people for the Masters Academy, I believe it was number 34 of Leonardo Gutierrez. I'm wondering if he was the...
He was upset, wasn't he? Did you see that too?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he was the long snapper on that play. I used to play long snapper in college, and one of the things that hurts more than anything is when you have a snap that goes over somebody's head. It's bad enough if it rolls, but if it goes over somebody's head, there's no way for him to save it.
And that's tough, man. About like a kicker, you don't get that many opportunities to have the football in your hands.
No.
And you want every time to be right. That's more than fair. Here's a solid return out across the 40. Turning on the Jets, number 24, Zach Rock. 5'11", 160 junior with an absolute burst as he crossed the 30.
Yeah, it's a great return there for Westminster, and they needed a burst like that. They went down now they're down by 10 points, and that missed opportunity to PAT might come in, might be interesting as we get deeper into this game. But both of these teams, they're undefeated in games that were decided by a score or less.
Yep.
The Masters Academy is 2-0. Westminster's 3-0, so these teams are used to being in close game situations.
Yep.
So we'll see.
That's a great bit of information right there.
For sure.
Here's Barber, the lefty, puts one up in the air on the far side. What a catch! Wembley Jr. gets inside the 10, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he is a Saturday player. What a catch up the far side by Dwayne Wembley Jr. Holy cow.
That makes sense. That makes sense why he has over 1,000 receiving yards this season. I mean, we saw, just like in the Mount Dora game, guy mossed a dude to go for a touchdown. It was almost the same exact thing, except that guy had the height. The other guy just had good bounce.
Yeah. And Wembley does it with two guys all over him. Listen, the Masters Academy could not have played that any better defensively from a secondary's perspective. That guy just made an excellent catch, and he'll be playing on Saturday.
Yeah, that was.
And he's just a junior, 6'6", 205. Come on.
I wish I had his height. I'm 6'1" 3/4 and I can't jump to save my life.
Delay of game against the Lions. That'll back him up 5 on this 1st and goal. They'll play it from the 10 now. Golly, what a catch by Mr. Wembley Jr. Gosh.
That was a big play for Westminster.
Like we said in the first one, big players make big plays, and that is one right there.
It all started with that kick return.
Excellent. They're going to try to bring it to the near side, and that is just great defense by the Eagles. Devon Washington, Demarion Simmons. Simmons is somebody else to keep an eye on. In the second half of the game that we we got a couple of weeks ago. Again, this was number 1 Masters Academy playing number 2. Huge matchup. Demarion Simmons did not touch the ball from a running back's perspective the entire first half, comes in the second half, and probably is the guy that wins the game for them.
Yes.
Just an incredible ability to step in and make plays and produce. That's the kind of players you have on both sides of the field in this game right here. You've got guys that can plug and play literally anywhere.
And with this kind of a game, you kind of almost look at it as who's going to make the fewest amount of mistakes.
Absolutely you do. Here's Barber tossing one to the corner of the end zone on the near side. That one's going to be broken up. Tim Pro, the intended target. Good defense over there. In on the coverage, number 25, Joe Tessirio.
Yeah,
listed as a freshman.
Westminster's going to need to, they got a 3rd and very long 15, basically a long 3rd and goal here. Like I said, they've done a good job getting it to within the 20s, but just cashing in has been hard to come by.
That's it. They're going to ISO Wembley up top, see if they go that way. Of course they do. Corner of the end zone. Flag comes in. He wasn't able to haul it in, but that will be pass interference. But again, good coverage. I don't know how you could play it any better. Christopher Barnes in there. Also Evan Slockett. I mentioned their names earlier knowing that they're going to have their hands full. But they've played it so well so far.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where quarterback put his receiver in a perfect chance to go get it. And even better, they drew a penalty to have a fresh set of downs here. And, you know, like I said, it's going to be a game of who makes the fewest amount of mistakes. And that was a big, big mistake there by the Masters Academy.
Whistles and a timeout called by the Lions. They want to talk about this one as the penalty gives them an opportunity. Now the down and distance marker still says 3rd down. It hasn't been changed yet, so we'll see about that. Is it a 3rd down? And it's not an automatic 1st down, so it is a 3rd down, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I know that they had a holding call earlier, and it was just a regular hold, no automatic 1st down on the defense. So
yep.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. It still says 3rd down, and they're not. It didn't look like he has any intention of changing it right now. But that does give them another 2 downs if they want it.
And the referee walked right over to it and looked right at it and didn't say anything.
There we go. So it is a penalty, a yardage penalty, and it is 3rd and goal. 8 yards away for Westminster Academy. They trail it by 10, 13-3 here in this 6A championship contest. For the Sunshine State Athletic Association crown. Here's the pass out of the backfield. Scampering out of the backfield into the flat was Noah Critch, unable to haul that in. And it looks like they will take the points, or at least attempt to send the kicking unit in.
Yeah, that was you had your receiver in a good spot. You just overthrew him, and wasn't a whole lot he could do to get up and bring that down. And that's a play you wish you could have back.
Sure.
But I like the idea here. Go for the points because with that missed point after by the Masters Academy, should you make this kick, it's still a 7-point game.
Westminster's Mason DeBona. He'll attempt to add 3 more. Everything looks perfect, and it is. Field goal good for Mason DeBona. Good-looking kick right there. Good-looking kicker.
Yeah.
13-6 now our score here in the 6A championship game. And this has the feeling, at least from my perspective, and I think you're going to agree with me, this feels like a collegiate contest. The way the game is being played, the way that they're planning and making adjustments based on what the other side's doing, it very much feels like I'll use the word professional contest. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's very calculated.
Yeah, great word.
It's very calculated.
Great word.
They're not just throwing the ball to throw the ball. There's purpose behind it. And, you know, they're throwing it into double coverage, but there's a purpose for that. They've got the tall wide receivers. They've got a dude with over 1,000 yards receiving, and he can go get it, and he proved that on the play. Westminster's a very good team between the 20s, But the Masters Academy has done a very good job of tightening their red zone defense to snuff them, and that's been the difference in this game thus far. That's why Masters Academy is leading 13-6.
So the Lions of Westminster will send it away. DeBona, who just put through the field goal, will send this one deep. Washington's back there, along with David Moore. That's another name, David Moore, that we haven't called a lot. He is as involved as anybody in this team on both sides of the ball as well.
Yeah, it's a team like the Masters Academy. They've won state as late as 4 years ago. I mean, they're in it. They're in playoffs every single year. They're almost guaranteed, if you will, a first round make, and that's what they did last year. I mean, they went 5-4. They lost the first round of the playoffs last year, but that's the thing. They made it back.
Yeah.
And you could see the head coach for this Masters Academy team. I mean, he's very involved. He's got a fiery personality.
And listen, this is just year one.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit with what they've put together at the Masters Academy.
Yeah, to go 8-2 in a state championship berth in your rookie year, if you will, at the place you're at, very impressive.
So here we go. The 8th grader Jackson Stecker brings the Eagle offense back out on the field. Masters Academy hanging on to a 13-6 lead with 9:10 to play in the second quarter here in the 6A championship game for the Sunshine State Athletic Association. We definitely appreciate them allowing us to come and broadcast these contests. I personally love doing work for the SSAA. Trips on the high side. Pitch is going to go to Demarion Simmons. We're going to see him early. I just talked about his involvement from the running back position. Gets about a half yard on that first touch.
Great contain there by the Lion defense. I mean, you saw, this dude number 4 of Simmons just, he almost reminded me of Darren Sproles. I mean, that guy took off and he went into second gear in like a half a second.
Yep.
And the fact that the Westminster defense was able to stay composed and just move towards their left side, the Masters Academy's right side, and only allow a half yard.
Yeah, just slow him down enough. Like you said, you talked about that beautifully in the first game. You said just slow him up enough to allow help to come. Here's a nice little pitch and catch. That's going to go for yards all the way out to midfield on the catch by Jake Hormel.
Late flag comes in.
Hormel is a special football player. Jake Hormel has to be involved early and often.
Got a late flag that came in. We'll see what the call is. It's on the Masters Academy. Again, the white hat pointed towards the Masters Academy. And wait and see what his signals are here.
First catch, first target for Jake Hormel here in this one.
Holding on the Masters Academy. So it's a first down, even though but it happened, I guess it happened after the first down marker, so I don't know. I don't know.
The result of the play was a first down, so they'll have it first and 10 at the 41 with 8:15 to play here in quarter number 2. Game number 2 here in this championship Saturday. Here's Stecker, fakes the pitch, gives it to Washington, and he is going to be hit and met, and a flag comes in.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I personally didn't see anything that warranted penalty flags unless he said something that did.
Yeah,
of course, we don't know that.
He didn't pick him up and judo slam him to the turf, so must have been what he said, because he celebrated like anybody does on defense, but they're going to call it unsportsmanlike. I don't agree with that one.
It had to be something he said.
Yeah,
it had to be.
I don't agree with that call, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, it had to be something he said. Because at least to me, it didn't look like he did anything egregious physically.
Yeah.
So that's a gift. That'll give the Eagles first down inside Lion territory at the 47-yard line. They'll line up Jake Hormel to the near side.
It's almost like, and you see this across all levels, including in the pros now, you almost have to tackle and then just get up like you're a robot now. You can't do anything anymore.
Immediately put your hands up.
Yeah.
Let go.
But that's the thing. And it's like I said in the Mount Dora game, how are you going to react to it?
Yes.
Are you going to dwell on it for the next 7 to 8 plays, or are you going to erase it from your memory and continue on? You have to.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of coaching high school girls soccer for about 15 years, and I kind of moved on when my daughter did so I could go watch her play at the next level. But one of my coaching points from the time she was 4 was you have to have a short-term memory. I don't care what sport you play. You've got to forget it. If you make a mistake, you absolutely have to forget it.
Well, yeah, because if you dwell on it, you just start playing worse.
And then everybody starts playing worse.
Exactly.
It snowballs so bad. A lot of movement on that play, and that's going to be a false start against the Eagles. Little running start there.
Yeah, getting a little antsy here is Masters Academy. They got those 2 touchdowns already, trying to get that 3rd one. And they're trying to establish dominance early and often on this Westminster team. And, you know, I'm telling you, I said it before, and I'm still going to stick to it till the score line or the game proves me wrong. I believe the team that possesses the ball last in this game is going to win.
Yeah.
But too early to tell,
listen,
but
man,
I still think that.
That is absolutely a legit option. Here's a great defensive stand by the Lions of Westminster Academy. They were able to pull down Jackson Stecker in the backfield, and we've got a Lion slow to get up.
So Evan Tempro is down, and that's
not a good sign if you're a Lion fan.
Yeah, he was their early target so much in that first quarter, but hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got rolled up on that one or not. Quite a few players in there involved.
It's one of the few times in this half that they were able to contain the quarterback of Jackson Stecker of the Masters Academy, and I mean they read it perfectly. And because not only can he throw it, but he's very elusive as a runner.
Yes,
you can't. And you see the Westminster defense; they almost want to go and try and sack him, but they know if they miss, he's going to go that way.
Yeah.
But then if they don't get him, he's going to throw a dart somewhere. So it's almost like the Patrick Mahomes of high school football. Yeah. What are you going to do? And he's not. He's in 8th grade.
An 8th grader.
He's got 4 more years.
I know. His decision making has been in just again couple that with his composure, and you've got a championship level quarterback, and that's exactly what we have. A championship game on the line, and an 8th grader at the helm. And listen, he's 2 for 2 in my book.
Yeah.
Regardless of what else happens in this game, he has already done enough in the 2 times I've seen him to monumentally impress me.
I know for me, when I was in the 8th grade, I was wondering when the week was I was going to go to summer camp.
Sure.
I was not thinking about playing football, let alone playing in a state championship game. I mean, it's
against guys 5 years older than me.
Yes, just insane. He's got receivers that are older than him.
Here we go. Stecker drops back, looks to throw over the middle, decides not to, has all day, now runs. He shows his speed. First down and more. Flag comes in near sideline. Stecker is going to take it to the house for the Eagles of the Masters Academy, but let's make sure. There you saw a beautiful example of his athleticism. Just another facet of his game that is just ridiculous for his age.
Looks like it's going to be a sideline warning on the Masters Academy, I think.
Touchdown is good. It is going to be. That's a good call. Good eyes, Conrad.
I thought they were going to get a holding call there, but
touchdown stands. That extends the Masters Academy lead to 19-6. Extra points pending from the leg of number 77, Landon Lee.
And that's the thing I was talking about. Even on that play, Stecker, he pump faked it twice, and as soon as he found a hole, he just put his head down and ran.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that the Westminster defense could do.
Yeah, he was gone. He had a bead to the outside. As the kick is up, and the kick is good. Our score, Eagles, the Masters Academy 20. The Lions of Westminster 6. With 6 minutes, 49 seconds to play in the first half of action. And I didn't really get into as much detail as I wanted to on the Eagles of the Masters Academy. And again, this is just based on having seen them recently. they can hurt you in so many different ways. As I mentioned, Simmons coming in, running in the second half and scoring touchdowns when he didn't touch the ball in the first half. Hormel going deep for a 77-yard and a 65-yard touchdown score. Didn't touch the ball in the first half. Stecker, I didn't see him do anything like that in that first game. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the Masters Academy, they finished 8-2 on the year. 7 of those 8 wins, they scored 40 points or more. The only time they didn't score over 40 was all the way back against St. Petersburg Catholic and St. Petersburg on September 8th. Final score was 20-18. So they are a very high-powered offense, and usually when they score 40 points or more, they're winning, and they're about halfway there right now.
Here comes a big test for the Lions of Westminster. Similar to what we saw in the first game, they've had opportunities to cut into this lead. They clearly are capable of moving the football when you have the likes of Wembley Jr. on the field anywhere. Dwayne Wembley Jr., 6'6", 205, had an incredible SportsCenter top 10 catch in a couple of series ago. He's going to be lined up deep. He's going to catch this one off the one hopper. Nope, that is not him. That is number 7, Amari Deer. He's going to take it up the far side, gets across the 30 to the 35, maybe the 36. That 7 looked like a 2 for a minute.
Same with the 1 looking like a 0 sometimes.
Absolutely.
But no, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, BA. I mean, you know, you got one of the best defenses against one of the best offenses, and you know, it's still. I'm still going to say it. It's still early. It's in the second quarter, and there's time to you know, react to it. But you cannot panic. You can't, because you're going to make more mistakes to shoot yourself in the foot. Yep. And that's what we saw with St. Stephen's. They had opportunities to tie that game or even cut into it against Mount Dora, but the mistakes are what plagued them.
Wise play there from Mr. Barber. Throws it out of play, avoids the pressure, lives to fight another day. 2nd and 10, another composed decision by a senior leader. You expect those plays out of a player like Anthony Barber. Again, shockingly awesome when you see it out of an 8th grader.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, we'll probably say that all broadcast till we're blue in the face.
Oh,
but,
I'm telling you.
But he's legitimately playing like he's 17 years old, about to graduate, and he's probably barely 13.
Barber looks, fires a dart to Wembley. What a catch. Goes up and over, uses that 6'6" frame to haul it in. Folks, that's a Saturday wide receiver. There you go, prototypical 6'6", 205.
I mean, he put that ball where only he could go get it. And, I mean, that's a guy you want to have. And that's, you know, when they threw it around to Evan Tempero earlier, that kind of opened it up there for Wembley. And he's showing you why he's got over 1,000, because he can go up and get those high passes.
You know, Gus Malzahn's been talking about recruiting Florida better. Well, Gus, I got you a guy. Come check out this young man from Westminster Academy as this play goes up the middle, gain of about 2, maybe 3. There is absolutely a place for that young man anywhere he wants to go, I believe. And he's got another year to perfect his craft.
100%.
It's impressive now.
Got an official's timeout here. I think it's going to be another water break for the second quarter. But yeah, it's like I said, Westminster has no problem moving the football. They're very good at moving it between the 20s. But as soon as they get into the red zone, whatever red zone defense they have over there at the Masters Academy out of Oviedo, Florida, it just tightens up. And, you know, we had this when I was at junior college, at Victor Valley College. We had every time it was within the 20-yard line, our defensive coordinator would yell red 7. And we would go from a 3-man front on the defensive line to a 4-man front and then move more like into a nickel package. But and then when I was in North Dakota at the University of Jamestown, you would just yell, we would all yell on defense from the sideline, bend, don't break. And you have to, give them between the 20s, but when it's within the red zone, you have to force field goals, and that's what they're doing here against Westminster.
Yep, here's the throw under duress. Good pressure there by the Eagles. Puts Barber in a very uncomfortable situation as he was looking for Wembley Jr. up the far sideline. Pass incomplete.
And he threw it just a little tad far, but luckily it's about a third and long play here for Westminster, so still pretty manageable. But, for Westminster, you have to cash in here. I'm going to say whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, because the way that the Masters Academy has been attacking on offense, if they continue to do that throughout the rest of this game, you have to score every time you touch the ball.
And you can't exchange 2 or 3s for 6s. There's another outstanding catch. Ladies and gentlemen, we might be watching the best receiver I've seen all season.
I mean, I'm not even going to lie. I was staring right at it next to you in real time. I thought he overthrew him.
Still don't believe he caught it.
I thought he overthrew him.
My goodness. This kid is legitimate.
I mean,
Dwayne Wembley Jr., ladies and gentlemen, 6'6", 205. That's 3. Conrad, that's 3 catches that you just don't see at this level.
13th receiving touchdown on the year.
That's impressive.
13th.
Came in over 1,000 yards as it was. So you knew they were going to throw to him often. And boy, listen, if you're Anthony Barber, literally, you just throw to a spot. Kick up. Kick is good. We've got a good one. We've got a really good one. 20-13 is our score. And let's go back to Wembley Jr. for a minute, the wide receiver for Westminster Academy. You don't throw to him. You just throw to a spot. He'll go get it.
Yeah.
He'll go get it.
And even the one where they overthrew him, the two guys defending him were at least a yard or 2 off of him, so he could have pulled it down. But I think I love the way they started on this attack. Throw it to Evan Tempro, kind of get the Masters Academy off of Wembley. And now, like I said, you don't know who to double cover.
I know.
Because if you go to double cover Tempro, then you leave Wembley wide open. If you double cover Wembley, I mean, it's beautiful mind games played by this group, and it's like I keep saying, that was a very huge score, because if they can get a stop here, you have a chance to at least maybe cut it to within 4 going into halftime, because this Masters Academy team, I believe they're going to score almost every time they possess the ball, but it's going to be one of those things is, when are you going to make that big stop, or 2?
Flags come in as they attempt an offside kick, the Lions that is. 2013 scoreline, and I am seeing Evan Tempro up, moving around, shaking it off. Doesn't look to, I just saw him walk up and down the sideline, doesn't look to be walking gingerly on that leg. I don't know if he just hyperextended it a little bit a couple of plays ago when he had to be helped off, but he does look like he's putting his gloves back on over there on the bench, so that's an interesting note to keep an eye on. And as soon as Tempro went down, you said it, they went right to Wembley, and boy did he produce. Now they're going to back it up and try this one again after the penalty on the kickoff.
Yeah, one of the guys on the kickoff line went past the line where the football was before the ball was kicked, and that referee is staring. There's got a referee on each side staring at that line, and that's all they do is stare at that line. If they see a cleat pass it before that ball's kicked, they're going to call that every time.
Yeah, it's a hard one to get away with. 5 minutes, 36 seconds to play in the opening half here in this 6A championship game, as once again, same play, same results. Flags fly. And I think, at what point do you just say, guys, just kick it?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they're doing it so they can kick it to the 1 yard line.
Look at all that space in the middle. We can see it from our vantage point between the up men and the deep guys for the Eagles of Masters Academy. There's a lot of acreage right there. I'm putting it on the sideline about the 45 or 40 down here to our right.
Yeah, at least kick it in a way. I mean, you don't want to kick it out of bounds because that'll be a penalty and give Masters Academy quality field position. But, if you're the kickoff team, just hang on a second for at least a quarter of a second and give your kicker a chance to boot it deep.
Oh, that time,
wow.
Third time's a charm. It did exactly what they wanted.
Wow.
They heard me talking about it. What a play.
And that's one of those things.
What a play.
You see it every once in a while in college or even the NFL. It's very risky You got to kick it at somebody that doesn't have the greatest hands.
Listen, that was a laser, too.
And as long as it hits the guy, it doesn't have to travel 10 yards.
Doesn't matter. That's an outstanding play. Outstanding play.
Yeah, and
I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of this Westminster Academy team. I like, we had the pleasure of talking. I was familiar with the Masters Academy. Obviously, I love them and their program, but it's always nice when you meet a new team, new coach, kind of get the feel for what they're all about. And listen, they were all in on the sideline. The way the coach talked to us, it was very down to earth. They're playing for pride.
100%.
And I love that they're throwing the playbook out. Let's go to win.
Yeah.
Play to win.
I almost wonder if there's a saying going around this time of the world that's called "Never let them know your next move." So I'm wondering, it's probably not true, but I'm wondering if they had those offsides on the kickoff team on purpose,
just to mess with them.
I don't think they did, but it would be hilarious if it was true.
You never know, man.
Because
that's an interesting point. You never know.
Because honestly, you back up 10 yards off 2 penalties, and then you just dart it right at that up man, and now you get it.
That would be one of the most clever things I've ever seen. And Barber's going to take it straight ahead. He elects not to slide, gets hit after the gain of 9, and he's going to be slow to get up. He took a shot there. That was number 76, Tyson Chadwick, the 6'5", 270 senior defensive tackle. And not only are these guys big physically, but they're athletic, right? Not all 6'5", 220 is athletic.
No.
These guys are.
Yeah.
Both sides of the ball. Both teams.
Yeah, and when it's the best on the best, it's almost like in football practice where you have good on good for practice. I mean,
exactly.
This is one of those where you have to limit the number of mistakes, and even this, it keeps the ball away from the Masters Academy offense and starts to bear down on that defense.
Timeout. They tried to draw him off sides, didn't work. Eagles did not bite. Well done by the defensive unit, led by my friend Doug Gabriel, former wide receiver, excellent player. Spent some time with the Patriots, spent some time with the Raiders, and now chapter president for the NFLPA in Central Florida. I mean, when you got those kind of guys on the sideline, these those guys have forgot more about football than I'll ever know. and to have that, I'm telling you, that has to do something.
Well, and it's one of those things where they've been there, done that at every level. And they've been around guys that were, 18, 25, 30, maybe even 40 years old, and they've been there.
Yeah.
They've been in high school once. They've been in, situations like this once. And, when you've been in situations where you're getting paid millions of dollars to go and try and win a Super Bowl, I mean, it's not the same as like this environment, but it's like if you have that experience, wealth of knowledge, like you just said.
Collins falls forward, and it looks like he is going to have enough for the first down. They don't run it much, at least they haven't tonight, but Alonzo Collins, number 3 in white, is the primary running back.
That's a big first down there for Westminster.
Yes, it is.
As I said, the least amount they need to do is come away with a field goal because you cut it to 4. You're not going to get the ball in the second half to start.
Time. That's a good point.
Because as points are already hard to come by, as it is, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Points are easier to come by.
Yeah.
But against a team like the Masters Academy, any score you can get is good because if you don't score and then the Masters Academy switches, that's maybe a 14-point swing.
Yeah. Here's a pass floated over the top. Wembley, the intended target from Barber. He's going to be brought down after the ball is tipped up and out of play. Looking for that quick hitter on the far sideline. And going back to what I was talking about with the coaching staff that they've assembled at the Masters Academy, I can say the same thing, and I've seen the exact same result happen in a situation just like we're seeing at Westminster Academy, where you have a coach, as we talked about, with that pride of that school being there for that lone national or lone state championship, and all of a sudden you're back here again. That can be the exact same result as putting a bunch of knowledge out there.
100%.
So it's two very different ways to get here, but both are awesome.
Yeah, different perspectives. One as a player, now as a coach.
Barber looks, points, pressure comes. Now he has to throw it. attempts to throw one over the top. Flag comes in, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, as we've seen the last two throws that have gone towards Wembley Jr., they were in position. He didn't extend far enough to grab him, so I don't know what that was, but
wow, penalty's going to go against Masters Academy. It's going to be pass interference, so they had to have a handful of jersey or something. Or maybe, I don't know.
No, it's against Masters.
Yeah.
That's a big penalty.
That's huge. That moves Westminster all the way up to the 31-yard line and a 1st and 10.
Again, keep that possession away from the Masters Academy as much as you can, and just bleed the clock and then go to halftime.
This is big. Here's Barber looking. Pressure comes. He's going to be hit and dropped. What a time to produce a sack. Big play right there from Caleb Laxton.
And Westminster's had an old lineman down. That's number 50 of Jack Scott. 6-foot sophomore weighing 210 pounds. He got up and limped a little bit, but he's going to limp to the sideline. I think they're going to have to make a substitution here.
Laxton found an alley, able to put some pressure on Anthony Barber, and that is a huge defensive play. Kind of counters that penalty that they just had assessed, moves the line of scrimmage back to the 37-yard line. Two receivers, top of the screen. Quick one. Catch made by Amari Deer. Makes two men miss. Loses the football, able to fall on it. Gain of 5 yards as a result of the play. Line of scrimmage is now going to be the 26. Very fortunate there for Amari Deer that he was able to turn, have the presence of mind to find the football, and B, jump on it.
Yeah, Deer came into this game over 430 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. Only a sophomore. I mean, such great athletes on both sides of the ball. I mean, he turned maybe a 2-yard gain into a 3rd and 5.
Absolutely.
Impressive.
Two receivers each way this time. Barber looking, fires across the middle, catch made. Fighting for extra yards inside the 15 is Tempro. So clearly that knee is not further concern. Good for him, obviously.
And came into this game 66 total receiving yards.
That's amazing.
I can guarantee you he has 66 plus right now. And it's not even halftime.
Yeah, it makes me wish I'd have kept stats on that. Collins in the backfield, 2 receivers each way. Barber, hands off. Collins up the middle, gets to the 10, falls forward to about the 8. Scratching and clawing those yards. They rely heavily on the passing game. We just haven't seen a lot of Alonzo Collins tonight, but when we have, he's been very good. And now we have got an injured Eagle, and that is something to keep an eye on because that is Trey Chadwick. He and his brother Tyson Chadwick, I assume brothers, are very instrumental on this Eagle offensive and defensive line. And when I say instrumental, very instrumental.
And I've got to apologize. I was looking at the wrong stat line. Tempro actually came into this game 720 yards receiving. The 66 was his number of rushing yards. But nonetheless, he's been an instrumental person on that receiving core. He's second on the team, 720 yards and 6 touchdowns. Between him and Wembley, Wembley with his 13th touchdown on the year, they combined for 19. But, again, I got to apologize on that. I was looking at the wrong one. I was looking at rushing, not receiving.
Conrad, I couldn't count on everybody's fingers and toes in this building how many times I've done that.
But it is what it is.
This has been a very entertaining game to call. Minute 23 remains here in the first half of this 6A championship between Westminster Academy, the underdogs, and the Masters Academy Eagles. The Lions have the football. They trail by 7, but they are in a position with just a couple of minutes, a minute and change left in the first half, to tie this game up or potentially take the lead if they elect to go for 2. This is huge right here on 2nd and about 5. They can get a first down at the 4.
Injured O-lineman defensive lineman for the Masters Academy, Trey Chadwick. Good to see him up.
Yes.
He's being helped to the sideline by a couple members of the coaching staff, but glad to see they didn't have to bring in a stretcher. That's the last thing you want to see, no matter what side.
Similar to what we saw at a Tempro, he's not putting any weight on that injured leg. Thankfully, Tempro was able to come back out. Hopefully the same can be said for Chadwick. Our thoughts are with him. Minute 21 now as the clock starts. 2 receivers each way. Collins in the backfield. See what they can muster here as movement all over the place. Flags fly.
And a call
offsides,
I believe.
Is that what they're getting them?
I saw the far referee on the Masters Academy side run in with his hands on his hips. So I think it's going to be an offsides. Yep.
Saw it. I saw movement all over the place. It was just a matter of who they're going to say move first.
And it looked like the 2 D tackles for the Masters Academy jumped, and again, it's one of those things. Those refs, a couple of those refs are looking right down that line, right at the ball, and if they see a hand, a foot, anything, pass it before it's snapped. If you can simultaneously snap it as well, I mean, they'll catch that every single time.
It is 2nd and about a football. Inside the 5. I thought they actually had enough for the first down. Here we go. Handoff Collins. That's the right call. That's going to be a 1st and goal from the 3. Timeout called. That stops the clock with 53 seconds. Excellent game management right here from Westminster. Couldn't be more impressed.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, they've done a great job between the 20s. They had no issue with that. They got a couple early field goals, but then after that, it's almost one of those things where you go, okay, great, but how are you going to adjust to it?
Oh, that time Barber was looking for the quick one for Amari Deer. He went about 3 yards too far to Anthony Barber's right. Throw went well behind Amari Deer. Listen, if it was me, and I'm not down there, I'm up here, I'm giving the football to Alonzo Collins. Listen, you have loosened them up so well with the passing game. Let him run it in from 3 yards out. Right, he just got you 3 yards in a cloud of dust for the 1st and goal anyway.
And you've got a timeout left anyway.
Sure.
So if you don't get anything.
I would have liked to have seen them gone to Collins that last play.
I agree with you.
2 receivers each way. We'll see what they do. It is going to be Collins straight forward, and he's going to – oh, did he get it across or did he lose the football? No indication. It's going to be marked short. Whistles, timeout, Westminster. They're going to mark him literally inches short of the goal line. It's going to be 3rd and 2 inches?
Yeah.
It's got to be close.
If that. Very fortunate it was not a fumble. They called it down by contact. But
see, I told you they should have gone to him.
I think, and it's crazy because we've got 3rd and inches coming up, and I'm kind of sitting here. I want him to – I'm kind of with you. I want maybe hand it off to Collins again because you don't want to be like the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl in 2014 where they continue to this day say they should have handed it off to Marshawn Lynch. And
all day.
But if you're the Masters Academy, which I think they're going to do, load up that middle and try and stuff that hole. And but I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here spewing whatever could happen, but I think you hand it off because that was a great run to put it within less than a yard.
Inches.
But
and like I said, I initially thought he had it on the stretch.
Yeah. But you have if you're Westminster, you have to cash in here.
30 seconds to play in the first half. This is a big play right here, 3rd and literally inches. Barber under center. He's going to go quarterback keep, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Westminster.
So they said, you know what? We're going to not listen to whatever you just said, and we're going to have Barber run it in for the touchdown. Great play. I like it.
Love the play call.
Barber's 5th rushing touchdown on the season.
Most importantly, it brings it to a 1-point game, 20-19, extra point pending for the Lions.
And what a gutsy call to go for that onside kick.
Listen, what a drive, right? What a drive, killing the last 6 minutes and scoring. Ball's down, kick is away, and it is up and through. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie game at 20 apiece with 25 and a half seconds to play in the first half. Does it get any better than this?
I don't think so. And to think that the last state championship game that Westminster was in finished 6-3, we've already eclipsed a 9-point total back in the first quarter.
Yep, not a touchdown to be found in that game.
And we've got 5 of them now.
20 apiece. Listen, you got to tip your cap to Westminster Academy because at one point in this game, it's 21-6. Masters Academy with the football and an opportunity to extend that lead. Hey, man, a few things go your way, and all of a sudden you've scored twice, or 20-6, and you've scored twice, and now it's a new game.
When you bring up that 20 versus 21, I mean that potential PAT attempt going awry. Well, going awry, it's a tie game instead of a 1-point lead. So that's going to play a big part in the later stages of the game coming out of halftime.
We'll see what Westminster elects to do here. Last time it was a direct kick, a laser. They're going to do it again, but this time the sure hands of O'Shea Faison make sure that goes nowhere. And listen, that is a really hard play to make. If you don't have your eyes up and you're ready for a laser off the tee, that takes an extraordinary amount of hand-eye coordination. Not everybody can do what he just did.
I think the Masters Academy might have sent in the hands team just to be safe, because I mean, Westminster they kicked it right at one of the front man that probably doesn't have the best hands.
Sure.
And because that's what you got to do. If you got to find the guy that's just in there to provide that heavy push to prevent them from getting to it. He's probably not going to have the best hands, and they played that perfectly. And like you said, it's already a hard play to do because so much has to go correct there.
Sure.
But I still like the play because it keeps the Masters Academy honest, and they only have 24 seconds. Now, granted, a lot can happen in 24 seconds, but I still like it.
Here we go with the 8th grader, Jackson Stecker, at the helm for the Masters Academy. He's going to go over the top. Got his man, Jay Cormel, and that is 6. How about it, Conrad? 53 yards over the top to Jay Cormel. All it took him was 6 seconds, my friend.
That's a huge touchdown that Westminster had to tie it. And again, blown coverage is what cost Westminster there, and that's huge for the Masters Academy, especially since they get the ball to start the second half.
This game reminds me of those Big 12 games around the 2010-2012 era. Texas Tech, B Texas, you would see these plays just scoring in a mere seconds when they got the football. So impressive. Lees steps on for the extra point. Chip shot up. Chip shot good. 27-20. Our new score with 14.6 seconds to play in the first half. My goodness.
I mean, anything can happen in this game. I mean, we could have a kick return here without inconsistent everything is. It's crazy.
It wouldn't surprise me an ounce if that happened.
100% no.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They've scored in about every way possible. We haven't seen a punt return or a kick return, but we might.
And the first game we called ended 28-7, and I mean, this has been just an offensive war on both sides of the football.
Both teams came to play. I think, again, Westminster Academy, maybe a little early jitters coming out. They haven't been here in a long time. These young men on the field have not been in a game like this. For that matter, nor have Masters Academy, but these kids were around when those older guys in 19 won a state championship, and that bleeds through the years.
100%.
End over end kick, good one. Fielded inside the 10 by Westminster. He has a burst. That's Zach Rock. Gets out across the 30. out to about the 33-yard line. That'll stop the clock at 4.9 seconds.
See if the Westminster offense elects to go deep as the Masters Academy did, or if they're going to take a knee and go into halftime.
Again, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't just ISO Wembley, a little hesitation round, a little hezzy and go.
Yeah.
Clearly, they've done it all season.
He's proven he can go up and get it, and, I mean, why not?
Listen, we haven't seen him in open space yet. We've seen him make some incredible catches, but we really haven't seen him on a unabated catch and go. Might here. Here's Barber. Pressure comes, rolls to the near side. Flag comes in as Barber goes near side. Ball sails out of play. But holding against Westminster, penalty declined, and that is halftime. Conrad. Oh, man, if the first half is any indication of what we're going to see here in about 15 minutes, I'm excited, my friend.
Yeah, it's been definitely no lead is safe, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it looked like the Masters Academy was going to continue to pour it on. They were leading 20-6, but I mean, this Westminster team, they haven't been in this position since in 33 years, but again, that phrase we talk about, why not us?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. I mean, they had that game against NSU School where they lost 42-7, and then just 2 to 3 short weeks later, they win 41-20 against the same team, but this time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, no lead is safe, and as I said in the Mount Dora match, you have to forget. You have to have very, very minimal memory about all that because, yeah, you just gave up a one-play touchdown after tying it up, and you have to come out on defense to begin the second half, but you cannot think of or dwell upon stuff like that because it's going to be a long second half if you do that.
You're absolutely right. We got the second half coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to take a break back in about 15 minutes. You're watching the 6A championship game for the Sunshine State Athletic Association exclusively on the Quick Cut Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Quick Cut Sports Network here in Lakeland at Bryant Stadium for the 6A championship for the Sunshine State Athletic Association. We've got a good one. It is 27-20 in favor of the Eagles of Masters Academy as they face Westminster Academy, who haven't been on this stage since 1990. I'm B.A. Bobby Allen. Conrad, Volch. This could go either way. It could have before halftime, but let's throw in a wet turf now that it's been pouring rain for the last 5-6 minutes. What happens now?
Well, I think it's one of those things, as long as there's no lightning, this game will play on. And, I was looking over towards the far end zone where the scoreboard is, and that Westminster team was jumping around, and they were excited. They were like, hey, let's go play a football game. Not to say the Masters Academy wasn't that way either, but they looked like, hey, this is a rainy game. We don't care. We come from Fort Lauderdale. We're close to the ocean. We get this all the time. And, we're starting to see some puddles pile up near that L of the Lakeland logo. But this is where the nitty-gritty starts to sink in. 24 minutes left of football between the third and fourth quarter. And the excuses, I can't do it, that's out the window. This is for the state title, and I just checked the weather radar. There's going to be rain until midnight. So, this is going to be a wet, sloppy mess. But, hey, thankfully we're up in the press box and we're nice and dry.
Well, that is one of the luxuries. I'm not going to lie. But one of the luxuries of our craft.
But, no, this is going to be, and I keep saying this, whoever possesses the ball last should win this football game. And we saw that in the first quarter.
Yes.
The Masters Academy didn't possess the ball last, but they were given 24 seconds, one play touchdown, 8 seconds, and you got to be careful, whoever you are, because this game is about who makes the least amount of mistakes, because it's the best of the best offense against the best defense, and it's been a fun one here tonight.
I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like both teams are kind of making their way back to their own sidelines as some people across the way are sliding in the water that is puddling up on the sidelines. I don't know if they're going to delay this and let the field drain. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Thought we had gotten away with it as it appeared no lightning or thunder in the vicinity. I was not expecting a rain delay, if in fact.
Yeah, I don't
know. Waiting on the
happen.
rest of the officiating crew. They were nowhere to be found. They are now making their way onto the field down in the right corner.
Okay, I was about to say. See some of the team managers for the Masters Academy jumping around in the puddles on the sideline, and my goodness, you could start a swim team down there.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to be covering swimming and diving here tonight.
Me neither, B.A., me neither.
Hey, there's always a first for everything, right?
Exactly. You could catch a touchdown and swim a 100-meter backstroke at the same, or butterfly at the same time. The choice is yours.
I'd like to see it. So now we are ready to play a little football here as they are keeping the ball dry out on the field as we are ready to play. Conditions changed, obviously, drastically, as a matter of fact, in the last 15-20 minutes.
Yeah,
that water is going to be a factor, period.
Yeah, this is wow. I mean, you go from nothing, 0 to 100. This is 0 to low-key a monsoon. Well, I don't know. I'm not a native Floridian, so this is like a monsoon to me, but for Floridians, this is probably a normal day.
So, 27-20. Masters Academy scored late in the waning moments of the second quarter to take this lead into halftime on the pass from Jackson Schecker to Jay Cormell, and there's a great play with the hands over on the far side as once again we saw Westminster try to send a laser right at somebody, hopefully not paying attention. That was Austin Greer with the good hands for the Masters Academy.
Yeah, I think I understand why you want to do it because it's slippery, wet conditions, but I think you are better off kicking the deep ball, because if nothing else, if it's a penalty out of bounds, they're going to start from about between the 30 and 40-yard line. But here, I mean, you're right at about midfield, and when the field position starts becoming a factor, especially in a game like this, you have to be careful.
Sure. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Faison, and he is off to the races across the 30. Finally dragged down from behind, but not before. He gets deep into Lion territory, brought down at about the 21-yard line.
And you just see he slipped probably 4 or 5 tackles, and they slipped off of him. They couldn't even get any grip. And this is great run there by the Masters Academy.
He is, by definition, a downhill runner. You
Literally.
hear that said a lot. You're seeing it right here from O'Shea Faison. He runs with a head of steam. By the time he hits the line of scrimmage, he's at full speed, or at least it seems that way. First down and 10. 2 receivers split to the near side. Handoff goes to Faison again. This time he's going to be stood up at the line of scrimmage, gain of about 1 at most.
Good job by Westminster of stuffing that middle there. They've had some issues with weakness in the middle, and they've gotten gashed on 2 or 3 occasions tonight on the rush. And that time they saw it, and they were not going to let the same play happen twice.
Yeah. Yeah, and they know that with these conditions changing, the likelihood of there being any downfield threat diminishes. It doesn't go away completely, but it certainly diminishes. Yeah. As we've seen, they're relying heavily on Faison, at least until this point. Now he's going to come in motion as the snap goes through the hands of Jackson Shecker, and he's going to wisely go to the ground, live to fight another day.
That's a big play there for Westminster,
yes,
because
it is.
that if you were to kick a field goal from there, that's going to be about a 47, 48-yarder. So that pretty much puts you right on the cusp, if not out of field goal range, if you're the Masters Academy. And, I mean, this is, again, throw rain into the situation. Who makes the fewest amount of mistakes is going to win this football game.
100%. This all comes down to one word, and that's execution at this point. Faison's going to be in the backfield with Shecker. He'll get the handoff, has a hold, now bounces outside at the numbers. Inside the 20, 15, finally ridden out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. Hey, run it until they stop you.
We've got a flag for holding on the Masters Academy, so that'll wipe out that long run.
That's tough. That's tough. Now Faison's going to get a well-deserved breather. At least he makes his way toward the sideline. They'll bring in number 4, Demarion Simmons. And again, in the contest that I saw a couple weeks ago, he stepped in the second half, and Faison had done nothing wrong. They just swapped like for like, and Demarion Simmons went nuts.
Yeah.
It was just amazing how many ways they could hurt you.
It's almost like when Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe all those years ago back in 2001. Drew Bledsoe, great quarterback for all of his career, and Tom Brady comes in and he never got the job back.
I know.
Long third down here, at least 3rd and 25.
Coach Garrett Kruschek did not like what he saw out of his offense. Rushes over and calls a timeout with 9:34 to play in the third period, with his team clinging to a 7-point advantage at 27-20. We'll take a brief audio break and be right back. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network. We appreciate everybody tuning in here on the Quick Cut Sports Network. We are proud to bring you the SSAA 6A Championship game. Bobby Allen, Conrad Volch, here on the Quick Cut YouTube channel. 9:34 to play, third period. Masters Academy with the football and a 7-point lead. Here's Demarion Simmons, bottled up, gain of 1.
Yeah, 3rd and 26, not a whole lot of room to work with there for the Masters Academy. And, I mean, that was with the rainy and slippery conditions, I don't even think you could kick a field goal here.
And I don't know how well the camera does it justice, but, man, there is a lot of water pooling up on the side of the field as you look across over on the Westminster side, and that just gives you an idea of how hard and how much it has rained in just the last 15 minutes. We went from nothing to an absolute downpour.
Going to have to go to Home Depot and order a bunch of caution slippery when wet signs.
It has changed things for sure. Here's Trips to the near side. Pass is caught on the near side by Washington. He's able to get back a few of those yards inside the 30 on 4th down. A couple of players for Westminster slow to get up.
It's Alonzo Collins, number 3 on the turf, and that would be a big loss if he could not come back, because he was instrumental on that last touchdown drive before the end of the first half. But looks like he's trying to just stretch out his legs and get back up, and he's slow to get up, but it looks like he's in a kneel position. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him, but he will have to come off for at least one play.
Yeah, he's going to slowly, gingerly make his way off to the far sideline. And again, the conditions change, and it affects everything. Obviously, you never want to see somebody hurt.
No.
But it affects the way you tackle. It affects the way you cut. You always have it in the back of your mind. You got to adapt.
Yeah, and especially you've got 8:36 left here in this third quarter, and I mean it's like time has slowed down for these football teams.
And as I said, it comes down to execution. No situation more important than this, and that's going to be who adapts quicker to these circumstances changing.
100%.
Bunch formation for Westminster. It's going to be a pitch to Wembley Jr. He's going to have the edge on the far side. Here we go in open field. But he is going to be tackled. Good open field tackle for the Masters Academy, but that is going to be enough to move the chains. First down for the Lions.
And beautiful play there. I mean,
83 with the tackle.
He had a lot of green in front of him, and it was just I think he was running so he didn't slip, because I can't even imagine how slippery it is out there. And in a normal situation, you'd probably see him tee off a little bit faster, but good job to know the conditions and to pick up that first down.
Not sure if anybody sees it out on the field, but I just got a lightning alert on my phone. That means it's within 8 miles. Here's a pitch near side, spinning away from a tackler at the 40, finally brought down at the 42 for Westminster Academy. Amari Deere, he's come up big with some big plays, both on special teams and from his wide receiver position here in the second half so far. 8:08 on the clock.
Yeah, it's going to be – the ball is – I mean, it's like when you see those games played in Minnesota where it's in the snow, that ball is hard as a rock. Well, this one is hard and it's slippery too. So, if they're going to throw some passes, got to be on point.
This one goes near side at about the hash. Stood up, gain of 2. Alonzo Collins. He's going to get a lot more work this half than he did the first, that's for sure. And so far that has ran true.
This will be a third and a medium/long play here, and for Westminster, you got to get another first down, because again, the scoring is going to be hard, as that's not good there.
Oh boy, another inopportune miscue. Again, comes down to condition and execution.
I think it just comes down to the quarterback of Barber just taking his eyes off of it for a split second. And in any normal case, get your hands on it and it suction cups to your hands. But when it's so slippery, it's you can't grip it as well. And that little bit of miss there is costly.
83 Sawyer Smith for the Masters Academy. Not only did he make a big play defensively, but he is now back to receive a spiraling punt.
Great punt.
Take a huge line bounce. That is a great punt. All the way down inside the 20. What about that? Change in field position in a 7-point game, a championship game nonetheless.
I had a punter in University of Jamestown. His name was Isaac Miles, and he would kick punts like that regularly. I also had a guy at Victor Valley College. His name was Eric Parker. Continues his career, Eric Parra. Continued his career at Kentucky Christian. But both of those guys could punt the ball and make it look like a pass. And that was exactly what that one was right there. In a game like this where field position matters and yards are so hard to come by, that's huge because now you have Masters Academy backed up before they're at the 19-yard line, and it's hard to go 81 yards.
They're going to send two receivers to the near side as the handoff's going to go up the middle. Gain of about 3. That's where the play will be stood up. O'Shea face on with the carry. Official timeout as the whistles blow, stopping the clock at 5 minutes and 54 seconds.
It's funny, they're having a water break and there's plenty of water outside. No pun intended.
Well, you just never know what you might see. Water break here on the 6A championship contest. Again, 5:54 to play here in the third. Bobby Allen, Conrad Volch, we appreciate you tuning in here on Quick Cut and the Quick Cut Sports Network as we're bringing you 2 championship contests. We had one earlier this afternoon, a great game. And this one has been fantastic so far.
Just a offensive masterpiece between these two teams, and as we might see the offenses potentially stall here because of weather, that punt that Westminster had, the sailing punt that took a good bounce even in the wet-filled turf, it's tough, and in a game where now scores and yardage is few and far between, if you're Westminster, you have to play the field position game. And if you're the Masters Academy, keep getting first downs and burn that clock.
Yes.
I have the Masters Academy here about second and about 7.5, 8 as they'll line up to run a play after the water break. Still taking their sweet time here. The head coach for the Masters Academy talking to the officials.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the delay is at this point.
Same with the Westminster coaching staff.
Not unless they got a lightning warning and they're discussing what to do about it. Hopefully that is not the case.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to jinx this.
And it looks like we're going to have a delay because the coach for Masters Academy told his guys to go down the field back to
lightning strike. So they're going to send both teams to the locker room. That's going to be half hour at minimum. So we will pause. We hope you join us again in about a half an hour. We will come through periodically and keep you posted as anything may change, but 27-20 our score. The 6A championship game on the Sunshine State Athletic Association's championship Saturday. You're watching it all on the Quick Cut Sports Network. from Lakeland, Florida. Bryant Stadium, as we are in the midst of the 6A Sunshine State Athletic Association Championship Contest. Bobby Allen, Conrad Volge. 5:54 remaining here in the third period. And it'll be really interesting to see, Conrad. Now, we talked about how much it would change when we saw the weather change. Now, you've had a 30-minute lightning delay, and these teams have been stagnant for a half an hour.
Yeah, 100%, Bobby. I mean, it's, there's still a good chunk of change left of this game. There's 17 minutes and 54 seconds of time action, but the time it's going to take to get back warmed up and shake that rust off, we'll have to see how the Masters Academy and Westminster Academy adjust to it, because, again, like you said, they've been sitting for minimum 30 minutes, and it's very hard to start from a 2nd and 7 like nothing happened.
Well, and that's just something you just don't prepare for sometimes. Here's a handoff. O'Shea face on right up the middle. We saw him do it to start the second half, and he does it again here. As we come back to action here in the third period, he gets out across the 40 to the 44. Moves the chains for the Eagles.
You see that the puddles that were laced all over towards the middle of that L of the Lakeland logo and all across the field have sort of subsided here, and maybe have gotten absorbed within that turf. But yeah, that's the thing we've seen Westminster. They've got the holes in the middle of that line, and not the defensive line, but just the Masters Academy's been able to gash towards the middle of the field there.
Jackson Schecker calls his own number. Did he reach out far enough for the first down? It looks like it's going to be close. He does. They're going to wave him on, it appears. Keeps the drive alive, and now they're going to be inside Lion territory.
That was a loss to contain there on the Westminster defense on that right side. They cannot do that if they want to have a chance to contain this Masters Academy offense. Saw them do that so well towards the end of the second quarter, but again, this is going to be that game of who makes the fewest amount of mistakes.
Jay Cormel is going to line up top of the screen. Keep an eye up there as Westminster is going to apply pressure on him with Amari Deer. Try to contain him, because this is a situation when they get close to the 40, they tend to take a shot, and it typically comes by way of Jay Cormel, as we saw back in the first half. And this is a perfect opportunity for them to try that, and that may be why they decided to call a timeout, talk about it. 5:08 to play here in the third.
Interesting point here. The Masters Academy, since they called that timeout, they will have one left for the rest of the game, and Westminster has all three of theirs. So, again, with the missed extra point opportunity, I should say, in that first half, and now with only one timeout left, it's just the little things. It's sometimes it doesn't affect anything, but you never know, and it's going to constantly be looming in the back of your mind of okay, we left a point on the field, and now we've only got a timeout left. Again, both of these teams come in. They've won the single score games, and it's a single score game right now. Those timeouts are so valuable towards the end of a game.
Pitch is going to come to Washington. He came in motion. He's going to be tripped up as he crosses the 45, and gets down to the 41-yard line.
Once again, we'll have a change of O-lineman here. Coming off for Masters Academy, number 50 of Philip Farragalla. Helmet came off, so Brady Fish will come in. Saw him substitute once early in that second quarter. See how long he stays in.
2nd and 5 as the handoff goes up the middle, but Faison's tripped up as he gets to the line of scrimmage, no gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 5.
So Fish came in as like a pulling guard and looked like, I think it was number 1 of Evan Tempro had some words to say to him, but good leadership there by number 55 of Cooper Allen, just grabbing him by his whole waist and say, hey, not worth it. next play.
Yep.
And that's the difference between 3rd and 5 and 1st and 10 for unsportsmanlike.
Schecker with the keeper. He's going to be wrapped up, but escapes at the 40. Stiff arms out of bounds, but he's going to be pretty close, probably short of first down yardage. I think he's short. And this might end up being a huge call for the Eagles.
It's a 4th down from that side judge. So it's going to be 4th and about.
He's going to be a yard short.
He had a ref take a tumble there by the 40-yard line.
Collision as he ran out onto the field.
The medical staff for the Masters Academy will come out. Might have just banged his head on the hard turf. Hope he's okay. But it's kind of like that coach for St. Stephen's Episcopal earlier. He took a huge hit in that first game, and he popped back up and just laughed it off. But
I forgot about that. Wow, yes, he did.
But both refs are talking to him, make sure he's okay. I didn't see the initial impact. I just looked up and saw he had fallen right about the 40-yard number.
Yeah, one of the Masters Academy players had his back to the sideline as the official was coming onto the field and kind of turned to the left and didn't see the official and made contact with him.
So he will leave the field now and be looked at by the Masters Academy medical staff. And I've never seen that before in a live game, so we hope he's okay.
Sure.
So they'll be down 1 referee because should they continue to play, there's normally 6 on the field.
Yep.
Now there'll be just 5.
Here we go with 3:22 to play in the 3rd. Scoreline still 27-20 in favor of the Eagles of the Masters Academy. 4th and inches here as they line up 4 wide to the near side, and all 4 come in motion. This is going to require execution, and a flag comes in on the near sideline, encouraged by the Masters Academy sideline.
You know,
that's tricky.
And it's kind of funny because the player for Westminster got back across the line, and then they threw the flag. Normally, if you do that, no matter how fast or slow it is, they let it continue.
Yep.
But they, for whatever reason, decided to throw the laundry on the field.
Listen, that play is tricky to run execution-wise and certainly tricky to defend.
Yes, 100%.
And as you saw it right there, produce that penalty and give the Eagles a 1st and 10. Schecker hands off to face on. This time he's going to bounce off a Lion at the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Westminster, good job of sniffing that out and stuffing that center, that middle, up the middle area. And they've done a good job of reacting to right after first down, just sealing it off. And those are those plays that keep you inside of football games, because you don't want to give the Masters Academy too many yards, because if they have to line up and try again from 10 yards, then the playbook, it changes.
Clock rolls, approaching 2.5 here in the 3rd as Schecker looks over the top, has his man, it's face on out of the backfield, cuts back at the 5, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown for the Eagles. The 8th grader, Jackson Schecker, another touch pass to face on out of the backfield, and he made a beautiful move at about the 7-yard line to cut it up inside and walks in.
That's the thing. You got it. That's the 2nd or 3rd time today we've seen Westminster on a blowed coverage. And, again, a game like this where you have to make minimal mistakes, and the Masters Academy capitalized it perfectly.
Kick is up, and it is perfect once again. Lee's is perfect on the afternoon and evening. 2:25 to play in the 3rd. It's Masters Academy 33, Westminster 20.
But as we've seen in that 2nd quarter, no lead is safe. And,
no.
You know, Westminster found themselves behind 20-6, tied it. But that touchdown with 24 seconds left in that 2nd quarter is proving to be one of the biggest differences in the game right now.
34-20.
Yeah.
Forgot about that ever so important extra point.
Yeah, still a lot of game left. You've got 2:25 left here in this third and a whole set of 12 for fourth. But again, if you're Westminster, you can't panic, and you cannot play like you're going to get all the points back on one play. It's going to be a grind, and it's going to be, you got to get at least one stop, and you got to keep scoring.
Zach Rock and Amari Greer back deep to receive. They're going to let it bounce a couple of times off the hands of Rock. He's going to pick it up, try to go far side, cuts back up into the middle, has a little bit of space, makes the most out of what could have been nothing. Gets out across the 25 to the 27.
And what an awareness to keep that ball in front of him and prevent a fumble recovery by the Masters Academy kickoff team. But yeah, that's so far the Masters Academy has not blinked coming out of that 30-plus minute delay for Lightning, and now it's on Westminster, and how are they going to respond?
Indeed it is, as Anthony Barber brings his troops back out on the field. Keep your eyes on number 2, Dwayne Wembley Jr. As the snap goes over the outstretched arms of Barber and all the way back to the 11-yard line.
That's the second time we've seen that today, where a bad snap is off the fingers of Barber. And in a normal game, you can save yourself because there's no rain. But a game like this, you have to see the ball into your hands, even if it takes an extra second, because the difference between an extra second and gaining, and the difference between waiting an extra second and losing 10 yards. Well, now this one looks like they lost 15 yards. Is huge.
Line of scrimmage is going to be just outside the 12. They need the 37.5 for a first down. Here's Barber. Crossing pattern. Wembley, he's got space and speed. Can he get away? It looks like he will. Dwayne Wembley Jr. to the house. No flags yet. There's a response, ladies and gentlemen.
And that was on 2nd and 27. No flinch.
How about 88 yards to the house on the crossing route pass? Perfect from Anthony Barber into the sure hands of Wembley Jr. He does the rest, slips 2 would-be tacklers, and the rest is just pure athleticism.
I mean, we've seen Wembley Jr. do that how many times tonight, B.A.? I mean,
man,
just either going up to go get it or catching it in stride, and all he had to do was outrun the defense, and he did just that.
34-26, extra point pending. DeBona. Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. 34-27. So, at least to this point, a shootout is exactly what we've gotten.
And I got to give some huge credit to the holder of Westminster. I believe it was I can't remember who it was, but the long snapper, Grayson Clapman, had a little bit of a high snap. It is wet, though, but got to give huge credit to the holder. He was able to catch it out of the air and bring it down just in time for the kicker. And it wasn't the prettiest kick, but it cleared that point after.
It made it.
And, again, those points, hard to come by in a game like this.
Yes.
That's the difference between it being a 7-point game and an 8-point game.
Absolutely. However so important that could be.
I think it was Noah Critch who was on the hold. I could be wrong. But whoever that holder was for Westminster, great eye to see that ball and bring it down and not panic. And great execution there by Mason Delbona to deliver a chip shot point after in non-chip shot conditions.
This time it's going to be fair caught by Jay Cormel on the short kick, fielded around the 30. So we saw Masters Academy with a huge score to extend their lead to 2 touchdowns. And we saw an outstanding response, an instantaneous response from Westminster.
Talk about having to erase something from your mind.
Yeah, right.
The play before it was a snap through the fingers of Barber, and then having the composure to find Mr. Wembley Jr. in stride for an 88-yard touchdown. I mean, we've seen some great responses from teams tonight amid adversity.
Listen, he's the best receiver I've seen this season, hands down. Here's a handoff to Faison up the middle. He always keeps the legs churning. He's able to carve out 3. Flag comes in, 2 flags.
There was a late sub there by the Masters Academy. That was number 83 of Sawyer Smith coming on late. And the Westminster had to shift over at the last second, so I don't know if they're going to get a legal shift or a offsides here, but that was not sure what this penalty is. But it's on Westminster. It's a face mask. I guess it's going to be a spot foul. Very confusing call, but.
Okay, if you're moving the line of scrimmage marker back, you got to move the football. So now we're here. Now we're right. 1st and 3. That is an interesting down and distance.
I don't think I've ever seen a face mask spot foul. They have it in the NFL, but usually in college it's usually just a yardage foul. So I don't know.
1st and 2.5 as Demarion Simmons gets it. He has speed. He tries to get the edge left side. Going to be brought down from behind, but not before he gets well into Lion territory. And now I'm looking for flags. I see one, of course, sitting at the 40.
Going to be holding
in the
on
area.
The Masters Academy.
Yep.
We'll see if it's still if it's going to be a 1st and 10, or if they're just going to back it up 10 yards and it be 1st and 13. I don't know. Just when you think you see it all, you see something else. But hey,
I didn't see where he started stepping off from. I wasn't.
More for the memory bank.
It is. They are going to send it back 10, which will make it a 1st and 11-ish.
So we had a
1st and 3 or 2, 1st and 2.
And now it's like
now 1st and 11.
So an 8-yard holding call, I guess.
Interesting.
Hey, BA, I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Hey, me too.
I'm not even going to lie.
Keep scoring touchdowns, guys. 43.2 or 42.3 seconds to play here in the 3rd. 34-27 Masters Academy lead and football. Here come Schecker. Dumps it over the top. Has his man.
He's got another flag on the field.
Foster.
Looks like it's going to be against the Masters Academy.
Listen, as clean as the first half was, this second half, and it has a lot to do with the delay and the weather conditions changing. It's been a mess, penalty-wise.
Looks like they'll pick up the flag, I guess. Looked like it was going to be against the Masters Academy, but they pick it up and wave it off. I don't know. Westminster cannot believe it. You see the reaction by the defense. It's just.
I don't think they understand what was called at all.
No, it's just very inconsistent right now. And
as you said, you have to forget it.
Exactly.
Handoff Simmons, running left again. Escapes the shoestring tackle, now met at midfield. Stood up and pushed backwards. Forward progress gives him the 50.
And Westminster is very lucky they didn't get called for another face mask there. There was a hand, I think it was number 0 of Andre Jones, got his hand up to try and grab a jersey, and the movement changed at the last second.
But that'll be the end of the 3rd period as the clock strikes 0. Conrad, we've got a good one, 34-27. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll take a short break, possibly. Let's hold things real quick. No time on the clock. PA announced end of third, but the way things have gone here the last little bit, I think they're going to mark it off so they know where to spot it when they switch ends maybe. Or are they going to add time? Holding against Masters Academy.
Oh, my goodness.
One untimed down. That's what they're doing. One untimed down for the Eagles here to end the third period.
Yeah, I don't know, Mr. BA. My head's kind of swimming right now.
It's been very interesting here the last few minutes. Like I said, 1st and 2. First
and 11.
And now 1st and 15. Not sure what the call was. Here's Simmons running near side. Cuts back upfield. Now gets hit, stood up. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage or thereabout at the 43. Good stand there defensively for the Lions. And now we will come to the end of the third period. In a good one, we'll take a quick break. Come back with the 4th and final stanza here in the 6A championship game for the Sunshine State Athletic Association. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network. All right, we'll do a little game set for you as we enter the 4th and final quarter. It's 34-27 Masters Academy with the lead and the football. First. No, it should be.
It'll be second and about 12.
Yeah. What did I say? Little equipment malfunction there on the far side. It happens. We have had a host of unusual events here in the last 10, 15 minutes, haven't we?
It's like on the next episode of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
But hey.
Oh, is it a full moon? Do we know?
I mean, the lights are on.
I know.
That's not really a full moon, though. Maybe it's first quarter or last quarter.
Well,
I don't know. Oh, it is the last quarter. Ha-ha. A pun.
Still working on the down and distance marker on the far side as this handoff is going to go to face on, and he's going to be drugged down by the shoulder. The jersey of the shoulder just shy of midfield.
How Dwayne Wembley Jr. held on is a mystery to me, but he saved a first down, a sure first down there by face on.
I get why he makes those incredible catches now.
He's got
strong hands. Yes, sir.
But he saved a go-ahead first down there, and that'll force a third down.
Should be third down, I believe. Hand off to face on. He cracks midfield and has enough for the first down. That'll move the chains. Doesn't matter. Now's the time where you got to dig in. Both sides. In the trenches, you got to dig in. If you're Westminster, this drive right here may be it. You never know.
Yeah.
Every time you possess the football from here on out, it could be the last.
Well, and that's the thing is the defenses have been sound for both of these teams. It's just, again, this is a game of who's going to make the fewest amount of mistakes, and both of these teams are so good that if you do make a mistake, the other's going to capitalize on it.
So far, Masters Academy is winning that battle. Here comes Faison. Schecker's going to call his own number. He's going to get free. Near side 40. Creeps inside the 35, and he's going to have enough. Nope, they're going to mark him shy of the 35. He's going to be about a yard and a half short. Second and short.
Yeah, going back to that touchdown at the end of the first half, I mean, that's the difference in this game right now, because had that not happened, it'd be a 27-27 game. But
absolutely.
But again, it's one of those things. You still got just over 10 minutes left in this fourth, and you've got the weapons and the system to counteract what the Masters is throwing at you, but it's just a matter of executing it.
Three wide, face on in the backfield. He'll get the handoff running right. Checks up, hit, and stopped. But he will have enough for the first down as he gets inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Slow, methodical drive. And again, tick-tock, tick-tock. That clock continues to fall if they stick to the run.
Well, this is one of those situations where we saw Westminster in that first half. They had great between the 20s offense. But then when they got into the red zone, the Masters Academy was able to tighten up and force those early field goals. Well, now it's possibly Westminster's turn. Yeah, the Masters can go in between the 20s, but once you get to that red zone, you got to start tightening it up. But better early than later.
Faison dragging a couple of Lions with him as he has the first down and more. All the way down inside the 20. What a run by O'Shea Faison.
I think that was coupled with Westminster players trying to rip that ball out and force a fumble. And sometimes that does more damage for you, because as long as it takes you to rip that ball out, he'll just sit there and say, okay, I'll take another free 5 yards.
Sure. Got an injured Westminster Lion.
That's the thing. We talked to the coaching staff of both teams, but for the Masters side, I mean, it's a cliche answer, but it's so true. They said, we want to play sound, do your job, and don't be a hero. And so far from this Masters side, there hasn't been any of that hero activity or hero behavior. I mean, you got guys. I mean, again, we've been giving shout-outs this whole game. Jackson Stecker, 8th grade quarterback, and he's playing like he's 17 years old, about to graduate in the spring, and he's playing, he's playing his game, and the system is set up perfectly for the personnel they have.
Yes, it is. I agree with that.
As this rain is starting to pile drive down again.
Boy, it is. This is what we saw during halftime that changed the complexion of the ball game, and now we have whistles and the near side official running out toward the middle of the field.
Wondering if this is another lightning delay.
Yep.
Because it was a official timeout. Guy came flying in from that sideline.
He saw something. Now whether or not now they're going to huddle.
As Westminster will make a substitution. Going to the sideline is Evan Tempro, and replacing him is Harrison Grant, the 5'11 junior, playing running back and linebacker. Well, there is no lightning delay.
Nope. Everything looks to be sorted out. 3 in motion for the Masters Academy. Jay Cormell near side. Schecker's going to keep it himself, and he is going to slide up the sideline. Did he get in? Touchdown, Eagles. What a run for an 8th grader in these conditions, in this situation.
He took a big shot right around the 3-yard line going into the end zone, but he took it like a man.
Now we look for flags as we have one, of course, at the 20.
So will it be brought back, or will the touchdown stand? That is the...
Looks like they're going to wipe it off. Man, that's unfortunate. We have seen a flurry of fouls or penalties here lately. See, I'm already, basketball's on the horizon, so I'm already creeping into that mode. 8:49 on the clock, and they're going to back them up.
That's a huge call there for...
What was it? Delay of game? No, holding. Had to be, right?
Has to be.
10 yards.
It's either holding or offensive face mask.
Yep. So, wiped the touchdown away on the individual effort by Jackson Schecker. They're going to have to line it up again.
Run the same play again.
2nd and 20. Here's the snap. This time they give it to Simmons. What a cut he made at the 30. Wow. He's going to get inside the 20 and have enough, to get all the penalty yards back plus 2. What a cut he made.
Yeah,
boy, oh boy.
I was expecting them to run back to the right like they did on that QB run, but they decided to keep it up the middle, and he just made 2 to 3 men miss. And that more time continues to come off the clock.
He made me miss. I might have to ice my knee after that move. I'm 100 yards away. That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
Face on again in the backfield as motion sends Masters into the same formation. Schecker again on the keeper. This time he's going to be hit and met before he can get to the 10-yard line. He's going to be spotted at the 11.
Looks like we're having another conference with the referees. I didn't see any flags on the field, but might have landed on that section of the yellow for the soccer lines. So I don't know. As the Masters Academy players start walking backwards, see what the official word is from the white hat.
This is why I would love it if they were mic'd up.
Legal shift, they're saying, on the offense.
They've ran the same play 4 times.
So
and finally,
legal shift is the call, and that's another huge call.
That is.
If you're the Westminster defense.
That's a big call.
Yeah, I'm going to say it, the very inconsistent calling and down line and marking here in this since we've come back from break.
Here's Schecker in the gun. They're going to run the same play again. Let's see what happens this time. Face out in the backfield. Hormel lines up wide nearest to us. Here's Faison coming near side. Escapes the tackler. Gets hit and pushed forward. Spotted down at the 15.
Now the question is, what down is it? I think it's 3rd down. Okay, it's 3rd down. I saw from the ref down by the 15-yard line on the Masters Academy side. It's 3rd down. Because that yard marker that we usually
it's stuck
see.
on 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 3rd down. This time they're going to run the shift from left to right. Hormel, top of your screen. Schecker keeps it. Finds a hole. Hit at the 12. Down at the 12. They need about 3 more yards for a 1st down. So decision time here for the Masters Academy.
Again, Masters Academy only has 1 timeout left. So
you're already up a score. I don't know.
I think they're going to stay out there and try and get a 1st down if nothing else, but they're going to make a late substitution. Coming back in is Devon Washington. But kicker is still on the sideline for the Masters Academy.
They're going to go for it with the clock running as we approach 6 minutes to play. Schecker grabs it, keeps it, but he's going to be hit and pushed backwards. Read beautifully by the Lion front. And that goes the way of Westminster. Turnover on downs. Exactly the stand they needed.
And you know what was the difference there? Quarterback there, Jackson Schecker, mishandled the ball for a split second.
Sure.
And that allowed that defense for Westminster to get that extra second to get that swarm together, and they were able to collapse down on the quarterback, and he did not gain a 1st down.
I mean, listen, Masters Academy has a kicker that is perfect on the evening. I wonder if they wish they would have tried a chip shot from Landon Lees. But now Westminster has the football. and they're fully capable of scoring in a hurry. Barber's going to have 4 wide receivers and Collins in the backfield. Quick one. Here's a crossing pattern from Wembley. He scored last time. This time he's going to be wrapped up. Ball comes out late but whistles well before. First down as he is going to be spotted down at the 26.
And if you're Westminster, you almost want to take as much time off the clock as you can because you don't want to give any sort of time left to the Masters Academy. And if you do it right, again, this is seeing way too far in the future, you could get a touchdown and potentially go for 2 and try and win the game. But a lot of stuff could happen before then. But, I mean, they've got the weapons to do it, as we've been saying all game. I mean, you've got Collins, leader in rushing with 720 yards. You've seen Gant called his name a few times.
Yeah.
He's got 360 on the year. But between Wembley, Tempro, and Deere, I mean, that's over 2,000 yards receiving between 3 receivers on the season. You've got the weapons to do it. You've got the system for it. It's just, can you execute it? But also, too, it helps to have a good quarterback in Barber with, I would be surprised if he didn't eclipse 3,000 passing yards for the season tonight.
Here's Barber, looks over the top. That's going to be incomplete. Contact made, unintentional, good no call.
Yeah, both the DB of Masters Academy being Demarion Simmons and the receiver Dwayne Wembley Jr. got hit by we would say the turf monster, but a combination between the turf monster and the water monster on that one. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
So we've seen the crossing pattern that they scored onto Wembley. We've seen them try to take the top off up the far side to Wembley. Let's see what they do here. See if they go another direction with Collins out of the backfield. Nope, it's going to be the crossing pattern. This time read well. Batted down, incomplete. Now we've got 3rd and 10.
It's going to be a big play here. You've got 3rd and 10.
This is huge.
And this is the drive. I mean, if you have to get points,
yes,
any type of points here to cut into this lead, because as we saw in that last drive with the Masters Academy, they bled a lot of clock, and they're very capable to do it again.
Yeah, they are. They need to get a chunk here, and they got to go for it. 2 receivers split each way. Collins in the backfield. Barber looking. Elects to keep it. Tries to get to the 30. Does. 35, 40. First down and more as he makes it all the way out to the 42. What a play by Anthony Barber.
Not too much of a runner, only 110 yards rushing coming into tonight's game. But, man, when they've ran that crosser, tried to run that crosser 2 out of the last 3 plays, I mean, it's a gutsy call, but great job by Barber to pull it down and get the necessary yardage to keep this drive alive.
That's a huge play. 3rd and 10. 5.5 minutes to play in the championship game. Down a score. 4 wide again. Collins in the backfield once more. Handoff goes to Collins. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Fights his way for 2 yards as he inches his way out to the 44.
Good job by Collins. He was gripping that football with both arms.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
It's so slippery, and those defensive linemen trying to pop it out just as quickly as he's trying to get those yards. But great awareness between these 2 teams to just hang on for dear life, and what you get is what you get.
He was hanging on like kids with a Halloween basket. Under 5 to play. Barber in the gun. Goes far side. Has Deere. Deere makes his way back toward the middle of the field, and he's going to have enough for the first down as he gets into Eagle territory at the 47-yard line. What an individual effort there by Amari Deere.
Yeah, another one of those guys cannot double up on anybody in the receiving core on this Westminster offense, and they're making it work. I bet you there's 1,000 things going on in that quarterback's head, the head coach's head, and they're making it work, and they're taking what the Masters Academy's giving to them.
Yes, sir. Barber looks to take the top off again, has his man Wembley, tries to make a one-handed grab, and a flag comes in. Pass interference will be the call as they try to go for Wembley again. And, hey, listen, if you've got a guy like Dwayne Wembley who can catch balls like that, I'm going over the top once a possession. I'm trying.
Exactly.
You're going to it's going to result in either a big play or a penalty.
And we saw that earlier when they tried that corner pass in the top part where it says the L of Lakeland in that end zone. But, again, it's like you said, it's worth the risk because it was on first down.
It is.
It was on first down.
I think even if you underthrow Wembley, he is athletic and gifted enough to turn into a defensive back all of a sudden and bat it down. This time he goes to Deere. Throw is high. Incomplete.
Yeah, everything's calculated here for this Westminster team. They're doing a little bit better at spreading the ball around, not going to the same guy every single time. But, again, I believe it's third down, I believe. Again, the marker we have across the field is busted. Oh, it's second down. I just saw the referee signal.
Here's a little physical play inside.
So a crucial drop there.
4:09 on the clock.
Crucial drop there for Wembley Juniors. This will be a 3rd and long instead of possibly a 3rd and medium. As these possessions are oh so valuable as we're under 5 to go.
Third down and 10 to go. The Lions looking over the top. Wembley's there with a catch. 1st and goal, Lions at the 5. Oh, no. Incomplete.
That is a late call.
The official on the near side sprinted in and called it incomplete. And listen, not a lot of fuss from Wembley.
We've got a penalty here.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be against Westminster. So it'll be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Westminster. So goes from bad to worse here. It's going to be a 4th and at least 25.
Wow, wow, wow. That series of events could not come at a worse time. Wow.
But I guess if nothing else, it's more room to work. So
my goodness. It's going to be 4th down. They need the 22 for a first down, line of scrimmage. 47. I'm telling you, could not have happened at a worse time.
But we've seen strange things throughout this football game, and
we have.
Got twins to both sides, so we'll see what comes out of this.
Here's Barber, whistles blow. Flag comes in offsides against Masters Academy. Oh, listen, your heart has to break a little bit regardless of what happens just because of the situation for the Lions.
As we hear the Masters Academy fans below us starting to come alive here. They know what's at stake for their team. Again, both of these teams trying to end some streaks in this state championship. Masters Academy, 4 years. Westminster, 33 years.
Here's Barber, fires over the top into a bunch of coverage, and that one is incomplete. Clock stops with 3:56, which is still a lot of time, but Masters Academy I don't know. They can start to feel it.
And luckily, if you're Westminster, you've got all 3 timeouts. That's at least That's at least one positive thing you've got going for you. But
yes.
going back to that 24 seconds left in that second quarter and that one-play touchdown, as I keep saying, BA, that's been the difference in this game.
It has.
But again, 3:56, still a lot of game left. And for the Masters Academy, I mean, the job is simple. Get a couple first downs, milk the clock, and you got yourself your first state title in 4 years.
It'll be up to the 8th grader Jackson Schecker and his offensive mates as that one is a handoff up the middle. O'Shea Faison. And now we have a penalty coming in. Westminster players indicated they saw something or heard something that could have resulted in a penalty, and that's exactly what we saw.
It's going to be holding on Masters Academy, just on the white hat with his with the signal, and that's a huge break here if you're Westminster, because not only does a penalty stop the clock, but you still keep all those timeouts.
Coach Krusek and company over here on the near sideline for the Masters Academy were wanting an explanation. But nonetheless, it's going to put the Masters Academy in a big hole here. 1st and 30. Here's that shift again. Keep your eye on Jay Cormel, top of the screen. He's their big play guy. Here's Faison right up the middle. He's met and stopped immediately, no gain. Timeout called. Stops the clock with 3:23 to go.
It's been an entertaining second half, to say the least, after we came back from that lightning delay. But, I mean, it's crazy because 3:23 left in this fourth, 7-point game, and it's still anybody's game here, BA. I mean, there isn't really a telltale sign or a that team's going to go get it. Even in the other game we called earlier between Mount Dora and St. Stephen's, I mean, even when it was 21-7 Mount Dora, you still had that lingering feeling that Mount Dora needed to get that last score that they got to ice it. And with this game here, that's just that feeling, you know?
Sure. Here's Schecker. Has to have his safety valve involved. That's Faison out of the backfield because Westminster's secondary was doing their job plus some. And another whistle and another timeout for the Lions.
Timeout's ever so valuable here. And again, as we said, Westminster started this defensive drive with 3 timeouts, and the Masters Academy burned both of theirs in the third quarter. So, and that point after that was botched in that first quarter, again, could still play a role in this game. We haven't gotten to a point where that might happen, but again, so much drama and excitement here at the same time. And as we keep saying, Westminster Academy trying to win state for the first time since 1990. Last time they did that, they defeated a team, if I can find my notes quick enough here, called University Christian down at the Gator Bowl. It was 45 degrees. And
that is such a fascinating story because when you hear that 45 degrees down here, it doesn't compute at first.
Final score was 6-3. Yeah, no kidding.
6-3.
We've seen more than just that today.
Here's a punt, and it's going to be fielded. Mishandled momentarily, but it looks like they got it back. Westminster's going to get the football with 3:06 to play.
That was
the
a third
defense
down
had
punt.
done their job.
That was a third down punt by the quarterback. So because that was a third down punt, they still have one timeout left. Wow.
Was it fourth, Joey? It was fourth, he said. They must not have updated the scoreboard. But I don't know. I'll have to think about that. You might be right.
Yeah, it was a third. It had to be a third down punt.
2 receivers each way. Handoff goes up the middle to Collins. Runs into the back of one of his own offensive linemen and gets tripped up shy of the 40-yard line. What great field position to have, though, working with a little under 3 minutes to play in a championship game down a score.
And when you have somebody that's not normally your punter kicking, they couldn't quite get the airtime that they wanted. And, again, huge break for Westminster.
It is.
To get it on the plus side of their 50.
Here's Barber, forced out of the pocket. Fires up the field on the far side. Safety measure there.
And we're going to have a roughing the passer call here on Westminster. Or excuse me, on the Masters Academy. Or no, wait a minute. It's either roughing the passer or intentional grounding. I'll wait to see where they spot it. Oh, it was roughing the passer. Okay.
Wow. Wow. Boy, another gift, and that's going to move the football all the way down to the 26-yard line. We could be in for a sensational finish, and exactly what you said, whoever has it last might just win this football game.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
Not me. Yeah, roughing the passer gives new life once again to this Westminster offense.
Low snap, collected by Barber, throws near side to Collins, in and out of his hands, incomplete.
Are you
wait a minute,
kidding
they're
me?
going to say that was a fumble. He did not have control, I'm sorry.
That wasn't a backwards pass. I'm so confused on the call.
Flag lays just inside the field on the near side. No. Huh? Yeah, no, he absolutely did not have possession, if that's what they're talking about. I can tell you that for sure.
And they do
incomplete.
They do call it incomplete. I was going to say.
Okay.
And it wasn't a backwards pass either. So I don't know. Anytime I think I know what's happening, I don't. I'm not even going to lie to you, BA. I feel like a kid I feel like I'm in second grade going to the local Rite Aid to buy some Thrifty ice cream, and I say, hey, can I get some chocolate? They tell me all they have is chocolate, and then I walk away with a bucket full of sprinkles. I'm just confused. I don't know what to do.
All right. So they pick up the flag on the near side. So the officials are still talking at the numbers on the near side. First and 10 is what the scoreboard shows. But it's incomplete. It would be second and 10. As Barber stands in the shotgun, we're playing football. 2 receivers each way. Again, a mishandle, and Barber has to fall on it. That's going to bring it back to the 34.
But the last time that happened, they threw a touchdown to their big receiver, Dwayne Wembley Jr. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we cannot say this game has not been entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're for.
That's an understatement.
Minute 48 on the clock as it starts to roll. Third down and about 20. Now they're going to go over the top to Wembley. It's up in the air. Can he come down with it? No, he can't. Great coverage on the far side by the Eagles secondary. Fourth down.
And this is basically last play of the game for Westminster. If they don't get it, all the Masters Academy has to do is take 3 knees, and this game's over.
Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Here we go. 6A championship on the line. 4th and about 18. Here's Barber. Hit as he throws. Up in the air. Intercepted. And the Eagles have the football with 1.5 minutes to play. The Masters Academy had assembled a coaching staff that they felt could get the job done. They had returning players. They have an 8th grade quarterback who has been absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I got to give credit to where credit's due. I mean, he plays like he's, like I said, a senior 17-year-old quarterback ready to graduate in the spring, and he has commanded this offense. I mean, the best I've ever seen.
Unbelievably.
I mean, I for sure couldn't do that.
Really unbelievable. And obviously with sport, there's always 2 sides of the coin, and for Westminster, you have to give them credit as well. They have had an outstanding season, and they've got some outstanding football players. As Faison fights his way for about 7 whistles and a timeout call. But the Lions have put together an incredible season. Some incredible individual performances on the year from Dwayne Wembley Jr., who is a junior. We'll see him again. Anthony Barber, a senior. And they should be very proud of what they've accomplished under the direction of Aaron Walhoff.
Yeah, definitely a great addition to have for this team. I mean, you know, has that championship experience from back in 1990, and he's a guy you want to have at the helm. Used to play here, knows the area and the school well out in Fort Lauderdale, and I mean, the sky's the limit for what this team can do over the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's definitely got things moving in the right direction, and it looks like the kids have bought in.
Yeah,
and now the Masters Academy can definitely feel it.
Oh, yeah. 1:18 left on the clock, and all they need to do is basically run 2 plays. And there's your first down.
There it is. They have the necessary yardage for the first down, and it's going to be a little victory formation for the Eagles of the Masters Academy. Both of these teams well-deserved championship contenders. There's no doubt there.
And again, both of these teams came in with streaks to break. Masters Academy, last state championship one was in 2019. They defeated Orlando Christian Prep 35-6. And for this Westminster team, they'll have to wait another year as the drought from 1990 will continue after today.
You know, in our position, we have to be partial, right?
Yeah.
But in games like this where you have a team that has been away from the championship contention since 1990, you always kind of internally want to see something great happen. But sometimes you run into a team like the Masters Academy, who I can tell you, they have been built for a championship, as Garrett Kruschek gets the Gatorade bath, and the Eagles of the Masters Academy are the 2023 6A SSAA state champions. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whistles.
At this point,
I
anything's
think they were
possible.
just sending him off the field, but that's it. And now they're going to have a little fun. Folks, our final score, 34-27. The Masters Academy takes home a championship. It has been a lot of fun being with you here today, and we are very proud to have brought you Championship Saturday for the SSAA. Conrad, it has been an absolute pleasure doing games with you, and I have a feeling we're going to be doing them a lot in the future.
For sure, BA. It's been a lot of fun, and you know, being in the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting at Full Sail University, getting to call games with different guys up at Rollins College. Also gotten the opportunity to do it up at Orangewood Christian on the NFHS Digital Network. But again, every person I've ever met and gotten to do this with is always a different style, because this is one of those careers and jobs in the world where you can make it your own and put your own personality into it. And
it's absolutely true.
I got to give it to you, BA. First class play-by-play announcing, and
thank you, my friend.
It's been a pleasure to call these two championship games, and we've had some good quality football today.
Much appreciated, my friend. I can't tell you how much that means. Like I said, I hope we'll do it again soon. That'll do it for us here. For Conrad, for Mark, and Joey, we appreciate you tuning in. You're watching the Quick Cut Sports Network.